Laredo, take us out.
Take her out.
All right! Blast off! Take flight each and every Friday night. Join the fun and let's go off-world. Geek out! Cause live where the nerdiness will thrive. Buckle up and let's go off-world. Toys, comics, pop culture news, movies and so much more. Matthew, Jesse, Curtis, and Sean are your guides on this fun-filled tour. Blast off! Take flight each and every Friday night. Join the fun and let's go off-world. Let's go off-world. Let's go off-world. Hey, hey, hey. Let's go off-world tonight.
Each and every other Friday night. Yeah.
Every Friday night.
No.
Should remember from your interview last week, which you did really well on until the last question. So
I don't believe you. I think I did equally as well on all of the questions.
Spooky Sean, look at that. There it is.
I love it.
Well, happy Halloween special, everybody. God, I got Jesse too. Look at
Oh, that's hot.
that. This is the Halloween special. I don't know what anybody has prepared. I don't know exactly what all we're going to talk about. I kind of have a feeling it's going to be a shit show. But that's all right. We'll have fun. And that's some of our best shows are shit shows. So
Can't be any worse than 2.0. So, I mean,
2.0 is awesome. I'm Curtis. This is OffWorld. With me is Jesse. Jesse, how you doing tonight, sir?
Oh, I'm spooked the hell out right now.
Wow. Okay. Sean, you're live. We hadn't heard much from you. I think you've been busy with work. We're just glad to see you. How you doing, Sean?
I'm on the other side.
So Sean's not alive, okay, but he's with us, so that's good.
Yeah, there.
And we got Dooch. Dooch had some camera problems, but he's here, and now we can see him.
dude, it's
So
been.
I guess that's good.
You love it. You will be thinking about this later when you're by yourself.
Throw this in the spank bank.
When
Wow.
Darnell says "get off me," you'll come to the douche like they all do.
All right.
So, but yeah, it's been a day.
I keep mispronouncing my wife's name. It's Darla, not Darnell.
Darna, that's what I said. Darna.
No. I think she's gonna kick your ass at Legion's Con.
That's not, gonna have to take a number. Like that's literally what the Legends
That's
of
true.
Grace
She'll be
Off-World
behind
table is
Anthony
going to
Halsteal
be.
in line.
Yeah, just get
Anthony
in
House
line.
feels like I got you for 3 days.
Instead of
bring one of those,
pissing booth, it's just going to be like
A punch
douche slapping booth.
Yeah, exactly.
You should
Buy two, get one
Slap
free.
at a dude, slap at a babe,
you should
slap
get
at a
one of those
dude, slap at a
bakery,
babe.
the wheels of numbers that people could just. You could
I
just
got
call it out.
45.
Yeah, now
45.
serving
Now-
36.
Now serving 34.
I love it. So many options.
You know what? You could probably sell more at that booth than any other station.
Dude, I'm going to make the money to fund this podcast for a year just off Legion's Con in my punching booth.
You could sell Punch a Douche for $1
did
and
table
probably
money in
make more
30
money than anybody
seconds.
else there.
Yeah. Hey, whatever it takes. Gotta earn the Benjamins, baby.
All right. Well, let's get started on show pickups. As always, we start with Jesse. Jesse, what do you got this week, sir?
The nothing.
It can't be nothing.
Why can't
Yeah.
I do nothing?
I know you got your reinforcements in. You don't have any of those that you've opened or anything?
Oh, well, I mean, that was, yeah. I mean, yes.
That was
they're all,
ages ago.
they're
Yeah,
all back
okay.
over here in the dark.
Okay.
Ooh, I like that one next to the one that you're pointing to.
Yeah, my favorite part about the show pickups is when you point to like a dark area of your room and people can just guess at what they look like. That's actually the best part of the show. So
Look, if anybody's been watching anything with our stuff, they should know what these things look like by this time.
Okay.
At this point. I mean,
All
we
right.
got to do a reveal of one. It's 7 figures. I'm not going to bring them all over here. And
yeah, that's right. We should probably just skip this segment. Sean, you got anything to show this week?
yeah, see,
Ooh, nice.
That
Look at
came
that.
in. So I have not opened it yet, but this came in. I'm trying to open it now. But
I
other
got
than
that
that's
Banshee.
it.
I love that Banshee version.
Yeah.
2 awesome X-Men and then Gambit.
Actually, I was gonna say 2 awesome
I don't know.
X-Men and then Banshee.
I
That's the
saw a little
same-
picture of you dressed up as Gambit, so I don't know.
Isn't that the same body as that Wolverine that's out right now?
Yep.
They've got a whole like wave of those where they're all in that same costume, basically.
That's
Because of the comic,
Yeah.
the Jim Lee era.
and they definitely didn't do it for cheap parts reuse. It's because of the comic.
Yeah,
Hey.
that's what I believe.
Gotcha.
Marvel team. How can people actually be excited about buying the same body 18 times with a different head? Jim would say no more.
You need a knife there, Sean? I got one here if you need it.
That's so helpful. It's here in spirit. That's what it is. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Apparently, you are here in spirit too,
Yes,
from what I hear.
it's all. I wish I had an echo in my voice. That'd make it even better. But ooh, it's all this garbage. It looks like they're in stocks. Like they're in the stock.
You know what those?
I love
You know
it.
what that paper, the wrapping around them reminds me of? Was those like old fruit
Like
pops?
they're
like the
dead?
ice pop. The ice, no, well, yeah, the ice pops we used to get like as a kid. They were like made with the real fruit that had like that paper, waxy paper wrapping.
Yeah.
But no, I was thinking the same thing. They suffocated the first two and made Gambit watch him die, and now
he's got like it's a hoodie. What are you guys doing? It's a hoodie.
You know, this is a couple times this month that you've shown a new Gambit figure. I'm starting to think that maybe
Yeah.
you have a thing for Gambit.
Actually, he is one of my. He's in my top 5 for X. I enjoy him. I like him better than Wolverine.
I love you, Sean,
Yeah, see, I'm lovable at times, but yeah.
all the time.
So Gambit, there's Gambit.
That head
Here's-
sculpt looks pretty good on that.
This looks better than the one that they did on the retro, as far as I was
Yeah.
concerned. That's another reason I was cool
I
getting.
think that
this
head
one.
sculpt might look better than the Mafex one, if I'm being honest. That's pretty cool.
It looks like what's his name from 21 Jump Street. I can't think of his
Channing
name.
Loki.
Tatum.
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum, yeah. Mhm.
Well, he was supposed
Have
to play him at
have
one
you
point, but I don't
seen
know what's
Channing
going on
Tatum?
I mean, I wouldn't say Channing Tatum from 21 Jump Street. I'd say Channing Tatum from Magic Mike, but you know,
Of
whatever.
course you would.
I've never seen Magic Mike, so I was going for a movie that I know. Okay, well, Joe is right. They did give Banshee a popped collar, so
Oh, does he have the one head or does he have both heads?
He has both, but getting into
Okay.
all of this right now.
Okay.
And then the other reason I bought this,
The
I
only
like the
reason
other
to buy
head
that
better.
is that
He's like got a screaming head.
hey,
that Banshee did look pretty good.
Yeah.
I've
That's a
been
nice
a
looking
Psylocke
Psylocke.
fan for a while, so I do like.
I-
her, and happy
I've
to give her
never really read anything with Psylocke, but I know Mafex has a really cool one that I like a lot. But I just never have pulled the trigger because I know absolutely zero about the character. Like I couldn't tell you one power that she has or who she's been in comics with. I have no idea.
I know
Like,
that's
very-
almost as exciting as me not having anything to show off as your lack of knowledge of Psylocke.
Are you two gonna fight all night? 'Cause-
I figured I was kind of lobbing one out there for Sean to go, oh, well, you know, she's actually got an interesting story, and here it is,
She-
blah, blah, blah.
Her
Very
whole
nice.
thing, actually, her whole thing is like completely weird to me
Yeah.
because I found out later on, like, this is another woman's body or something.
yeah, she's
Jesse
like a
was
British
explaining it to
woman
me.
in an Asian woman's body.
She got it.
Yeah,
So
it's
she
nuts.
was originally Captain Britain's sister, Betsy
Mhm.
Braddock. And she was normally English. There was no Asian involved in it at all. And then they went through the Siege Perilous, which that's a whole thing. And she ended up becoming Asian through that. And then she was a psychic ninja
Yep.
for most of the 90s. And then recently they did something that explained that she ended up being embodied in an Asian woman, and it wasn't really her all along, or something along the lines of that. The
Interesting.
X-Men after 1992, I'm completely lost on, to be completely.
Gotcha.
But
You know
yeah,
what?
and she fought Sabretooth actually before she even became this version, which I thought was actually amazing, because that whole issue was literally like she's trying to get Sabretooth away from the X Mansion.
Mhm.
And I'm like, out of anybody, she did not seem the person that could do that. And it actually was an amazing issue to read, because it is one where you're like on the edge of your seat going, oh my God, is she going to survive this or
And
not?
did she hold her own?
She did amazingly.
Wow.
Wolverine ended up coming in and helping at the end, obviously, because Wolverine and Sabretooth. But she held her own through the whole freaking issue for the most part.
That's
And I was
cool.
like, as a kid, I was like, cred. That was pretty impressive. But yeah, that was the one that I didn't get before the last time I was on. So yeah,
Cool.
Banshee, Gambit, Psylocke. There you go.
Beautiful.
And I'll keep unwrapping a little bit, but I'll mute myself so I don't drive everybody crazy.
I would highly recommend, if you like that Banshee figure, the can of beans. I just grabbed this off my shelf, but they've got this effect
Oh yeah,
for it.
yeah,
That's
yeah. The scream
like,
effect.
dude, it's so cool. So
Mhm.
on Instagram, can of beans, if you're interested, and yeah, it's pretty neat. So
Cool.
And Rick Emmert's in the chat. Welcome, Rick. He says either X-Men 213 or 214.
Yep.
I'm
It
assuming
was. It
he's-
was. That was like probably an 85, 86 ish.
Yep.
I want to say.
And of
And
course,
that
we got
is-
Joe in there. We got Enru. Welcome, guys. Welcome to all you creepers that are just watching us and not dropping a comment. Go ahead, drop a comment down there. Let us know you're.
well, while you're
Enjoying what you
alienating the handful of people we do have watching, you got anything to show?
I do.
Okay.
Just
See what you
because
got.
I don't want to get yelled at. So I did pick up from Adam McCombs, Mr. Battle Ram blog himself, this vintage Masters of the Universe magazine Brazilian countertop display. Not that I have any sort of inkling towards this foreign magazine, but just it was such beautiful artwork in such pristine condition. I couldn't pass it up. And interestingly enough, that this is copyright 1994 in Brazil. So it's always interested me how different parts of the world experienced this stuff later than the United States. So
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, that's what I got this week.
All right. Well, there you go. Last week I showed off my red Memory Toys Orc, which I told you guys I really loved, and so I immediately went back out and ordered some more. So they came in this week. So just kind of as a refresher, like this was the red one I showed last week. So then this week I got this one, which
Now,
is
these are the ones that don't look like Warcraft, right?
correct, but they do. Yeah.
Right, but they don't.
Yeah. So this one I believe is Garrosh. It's Garrosh and Grommash or something like that. Hellscream. Anyway, so this one came with the gift set of the axe, the head, the chest piece, the loin piece, so that he looks identical to a World of Warcraft figure. But this is not a World of Warcraft figure because that was a gift set that went with the figure. This one looks really cool. I was interested to see that a lot of the parts are different. Like we were just talking about kind of the same tooling and stuff with the X-Men, but there's a lot of parts on here that are different, which I was surprised with because they've only got like 4 different orcs out right now. And to have different tooling on these was interesting. Then I got this one and just going to drop his weapon there. So I love it. It looks great. The problem is that it's got these pauldrons that like slide into the arm. So like the arm has a little slot on it. It slides into. But this one here, the arm didn't have the slot on it, and it comes with 2 other shoulders in case you don't want to use the pauldrons, and those didn't have the slot on it either. So I got 4 shoulders. Only one of the shoulders has the slot that the pauldron goes into. So I got just blue here for right now. I did send an email to 5K Toys, and they said they're gonna, they said they're gonna talk to the manufacturer, but a lot of times it takes like 1 to 2 months to get a replacement. So we'll see. In the meantime, Blue Tack is holding it together. But another cool figure.
Did you go to their Facebook page and make a huge post and rant and rail?
No, I just I went to their website, found the contact them. It was just an email. I sent them an email at like 5:30, which I figured, you know, it's at the end of the day on a Friday. They probably aren't going to answer, and they answered within like a half an hour. So it was, good customer service. The only thing I didn't like was the whole may take a month to 2 months. I was like, good golly, like I don't know if Memory Toys is just that bad, or I don't know, but. And then the last one I got is this big honking dude. And this guy is completely different than the other one. So once again, these are all Memory Toys. They're all orcs, but this one is completely different in that the torso is like this like rubbery piece. If you pull the arm out, you can see that it's like the top of the torso is just like moving parts, and then it's got this rubber piece over it, which I don't really like so much. But I like the overall look because there's a character in World of Warcraft, Thrall, that his hair and face and everything looks like. And then I took that hammer from Boreer and I cut the end of it off to make a Thrall Warhammer to make him a little bit closer looking to the character in World of Warcraft. But all in all, I love the articulation on these figures. I just love the overall look. I was a huge World of Warcraft fan, so seeing these has been awesome. The only negative that I had was that one shoulder missing. So
you got a new toy and immediately customized an accessory for it.
Yeah, I got him. So I got the figure, and they're trying to make it look like a character, but not be too close to a character that they get in trouble. So I got it, and I'm like, man, he doesn't have a hammer. And then I was looking at pictures of it online, and I'm like, well, shit, that looks just like the hammer from Mythic Legions, but I don't have one that's in that silver color. Like I have a lot that are in like the bronze color from like the Cavern Dwarves and stuff. I had the one silver hammer, which was with Boreer, and I got it, and I put it in his hand. I was like, it just looks a little too long, and I just snipped the end. And
I just remember being given a hard time when I said that, you know, my custom figure of me, I wouldn't need the lightsaber accessory because I could just use one from another figure, and being given grief over that.
Well, that was one that you were in your imagination creating a character for yourself. You could have just given it whatever you needed, but that's all right. Whatever.
Okay. I mean, tomato, asparagus.
Well, yeah, it's about as close as it is. So, so yeah, I mean, all in all, I would highly recommend these from Memory Toys. I like the red orc, which I don't see on 5K anymore, and it's not on Big Bad Toy Store anymore. But if you can find this one somewhere, I like this one the best, as far as the articulation, the overall look, the armor and stuff. And then the two, like the tan one and the green one, are really good as second. And then I would put the big bulky one third, just because that something about that rubber torso just kind of weirds me out. But anyway, all of them.
Your lips on it yet?
Yeah, I have not.
That might change your opinion on how
I did put my lips on this shield just to see if the ridges were as detailed as the World of War or the Mythic Legion shields. And I will
never touching anything that was yours.
It's not. The Mythic Legion shields have a lot more lip detail. So just FYI. So that's it. That's show pickups for the week. So did want to pull up something real quick. Screen. This is just for Sean. I was gonna just show that Psylocke that I was talking. This is the Mafex one.
Nice.
I love that costume much more than Sean's costume.
I
didn't
like
say I
this with the back, like you can hold her swords back there and stuff, and she can get some really great articulation. So yeah, I think that's a really cool character. I just like I said, I literally knew nothing about it. So I might see if I can I don't know, might read some on her and see if I
That's
enjoy that
that's
character.
all I did. I found one of those pages where it's like, the
Yep.
weird history of Psylocke, and I read through that, and it is pretty crazy.
The one thing that I thought was interesting was I heard that she was in the comics at the time that they did the cartoon, but they didn't throw her in the cartoon for whatever reason. Like I don't
Because of
know.
that costume.
If you look at
Oh,
that
really?
costume, there'd be a lot
Yeah.
more people that are having puberty
Well,
problems.
yeah, look
back
at
in
what
the
they had to
90s.
do, because Storm was in that nice black costume at the time, wasn't she?
Nope.
She was,
She was in the
one
silver version
cartoon.
of the costume.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't really shy away from sexuality in that comic. I mean, hell, that's that rogue in front of Apocalypse that everybody, posts pictures of.
The issue with this, that the covers from 275, she's nude in the issue at one point. So it's like, they're not shying away from it. And it's like when I was a kid looking through it, it's like I'm 12 years old going, hey, I better not let my mom see this or I can't have it anymore or whatever. But yeah, it was like X-Men was definitely like, you read Spider-Man, you read Superman, you get into X-Men, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, this
I
is
did
the stuff.
want to pull this up real quick. Douglas Tupper says hello and good night. Gave him shit last week because instead of watching Offworld, he was in the whole Legions chat with Cullen, and I saw him because Cullen takes pictures of everybody. He's like, and he has to post 10 pictures throughout the day of everybody in there. And I saw Douglas in there, and it was the same night that we had Offworld. So I gave him some shit. So at least popped in and say hello. So I'd give him credit for that.
He's a Zolo.
Well, we got to give him a little grief, or not grief, because he's setting up at a toy show this weekend selling stuff at a first time.
That even gives him more credit because, then, even though he was busy, he still at least popped in. So I appreciate that.
And just to set the record straight, Psylocke did appear in 4 episodes of the animated series. So
was it like later
costume?
on, like the last season or something?
No, I know Mojo Vision because I've rewatched some of it, and Mojo Vision, that was like second season. I don't think she was a huge part because I don't remember.
Yeah, she definitely wasn't part of the main cast.
No, but she was in there.
And apparently, Teenage Joe really appreciate the fine art of the '90s X-Men comics. So
yeah,
I guess they did have her in that costume.
Yeah, I was just about to pull up here. Yeah, she was in something very similar, if not exactly, but
Beautimus.
Oh,
yeah, that's way to have it zoomed out like that. So
yeah, no problem. It's the website I can find there. So
take that picture from a helicopter, or
yep,
that's cool. Thanks.
Nice aerial shot.
Yeah. All right.
No, her name's Psylocke. Ariel has red hair and is a mermaid.
Well, it depends on what. No, never mind.
Yeah, good call, Jesse. So Halloween special.
The table.
What's on the dude's agenda for Halloween?
Let's go, baby. You want to start with the costume roll call here, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Hey, man, it's your show. I'm just here, according to the lawyer.
Really? Well. So. We're still deciding who takes ownership, but we'll let them hassle that out. That's
okay.
But yeah, let's look at.
Have your lawyer call my lawyer.
So
only I don't have a lawyer, so.
Yeah, Dana will take care of it for you. All right.
Darnell.
Who do we have up first? Oh, too far. Too many clicks. Oh yeah, we got the Scavarna.
Yeah.
Up first.
Beautiful.
That was me.
Now, no offense, Sean, but I just want to say, anytime I see an old picture of you, I assume it's all wigs. Like, I just assume you're Lex Luthor. You've never had hair, and these are all wigs throughout the years. So,
well, Definitely wasn't a wig because I hated it and I wanted to shave it from an early age, but unfortunately, my mom wouldn't let me have a razor. But yeah, this was whatever the year that Thriller came out. I mean, Michael Jackson was like the biggest thing in the entire world at that point, and I remember asking her, "Hey, could I be Michael Jackson for Halloween?" And this was his Grammy outfit, if I remember right. My mom made it almost the whole thing from head to toe, with the
Oh
exception
wow.
of she went nuts. I actually remember watching her make this for me because she had different things she was trying to figure out how to make this, some of the details work, and by the end of it, it looked like that. And the one thing that I still remember to this day, because we were um oh gee. Well, I was actually going to bring that up because the thing that got me was down in Baltimore. I went to it was multiracial.
Yeah.
So my mom was like, "I'll put a little bit of bronzer on you, but we are not doing anything worse than that because I'm not getting you kicked out of
You're not
school."
going full
And I didn't
blackface.
understand what that meant. I didn't understand what blackface was or anything like that. But I just went around looking like that, and in the picture on the left, you see the first prize ribbon that my mom got the first place for the entire school by doing that suit for me. So she was really proud of herself because uh, she got the award for that.
It's weird how much, not weird, but I didn't know you yet at this point,
Nope,
but
this
I
was
see
84 maybe.
so much of you in your son
Mhm.
now. Like, is these
Yep,
pictures? I was
yep.
like, holy crap, that's Hayden's smirk right there.
That's Hayden. That's Hayden, and a little bit of Evie too. I mean,
Mm.
yeah.
I
So,
I love
and
the Smurf thing on the door. Like I remember that with
Art ball.
that had like the Velcro
that
darts.
the
Yeah.
Velcro
Yeah.
ball, and
Oh
I would
yeah,
do
the
that in
ball.
the
Yeah.
living room because this was like the hallway. So
Yeah.
like where the photo was taken, my mom was in the living room. This is the hallway, and if you moved to the left, you would have seen every freaking toy from the '80s because that was my bedroom,
Yeah.
and up until whatever year that was. The one costume I wish I could have gotten my hands on for a photo that my mom couldn't contribute, and she apologized for this because she really wished she could have found it, was the year she dressed me up as Lion-O.
Mm.
I got a big crazy red wig. She made a muscle suit for me. I had the Sword
Wow.
of Omens. I had the claw shield just from the toys, and I had like snow boots that were blue, so I just wore those. And she painted my face up and everything with the cat's look and all that. And I think that was probably one of my absolute favorite costumes when I was a kid.
That's
That's
But this
cool.
was
amazing.
this was very memorable, and I still to this day I'm like, yeah, I remember when I was Michael Jackson, just for a minute. I couldn't do a moonwalk for the life of me, but I was Michael Jackson for a
I gotta ask though, Shawnee, are you okay?
minute. No,
Not anymore. Not after that
I
question.
was well. That was my. I was a Thriller that, you know. That's how it was.
Mm.
But yeah, yeah. I can't help it. I tried to be Michael Jackson. I just got whiter as I went along. So yeah.
So like
Speaking,
how hip were your neighbors like as you're trick or treating? Like did they know who you were? Or did you
Yeah.
have to explain it?
No, I actually I don't remember having to explain it. Everybody, oh, Michael Jackson or whatever, and it's like, okay, there you go.
That's
So
cool.
he
speaking
was that big of a name.
of whiter, let's look at this next slide here.
This is 1994.
Yes, it is. You
Now
So
this is not
every
your hair.
male your age in the area.
this was every male. This was every Halloween for 3 years for me in 1994, 5, 6, and some of 7. Um, yeah, this movie was like the movie for me that year. And the funny thing was, like from like when I saw the movie for the first time until Halloween, I worked out the entire year until then. Like whatever that was, like probably I think it came out in March maybe or April of that year, and I worked out all the way to Halloween. I lost 40 pounds somehow. I got lean and everything, so I could get into the really tight fitting suit. Got the wig, which obviously I couldn't do the Brandon Lee hair.
So
But I
this
got a
isn't
wig
your
too.
hair.
No, it is not my hair at all. I still had hair under there though. And the thing that I still to this day remember was I had my mom come up to my room to do the makeup because I was not going to do this makeup myself. I knew I was going to screw up the lines and all this. And I'm amazed my mom didn't finally go shut that fucking thing off because I literally kept playing this. I put the Cure song "Burn" from the moment in the movie where he puts it on, puts the makeup on his face, and then he goes up to the window and you see him as the Crow for the first time. I put that on repeat while she painted me, and I'm still amazed that she didn't like throw my stereo out the window after the fifth time.
That's funny.
But yeah, like to this day, I still get a kick out of that one because I was like in the best shape of my life. I was the skinniest I ever got, and everybody that saw me was like, "Holy shit, you look like him!" It's freaky.
Are
It's
you
funny,
wearing like moccasins there? What's on your feet
Those are
here?
my dad's work boots. Because
Oh,
in the
okay.
movie, he has these like used boots he finds in an alley, and my dad, I couldn't find black ones that looked like they were worn. So I
Mhm.
found those and I just went with those because I figured whatever. He mishmashes his costume along the way.
Yeah.
And then the one other thing I did was I had an electric guitar at that point too, and I actually put that on me and I went to the comic shop. They did a costume contest that year. So I went to the comic shop, did that, and then I went to a Halloween party afterwards. The minute I walked in the comic shop, they were like, "Holy shit." I ended up getting what was it? First place lookalike that year.
Nice.
And when I got into the mall to get to the comic shop, there was a whole busload of senior citizens that pulled up right when I'm walking in. And I just thought to myself, like, oh, fuck, they're all going to think I'm here to get them. I don't know what to... And this one woman, she pulls me to the side in the food court while I'm trying to walk through the mall. She goes, "Excuse me, are you a boy or a girl?" And I just look at her and go,
Wow.
"I'm a guy." And she's like, "That's nice, dear." And that was the end of the conversation. I just kept going.
Ethel, it's Gene Simmons.
Ethel, look at Rita. Oh my God.
It's funny when you sent this picture over, and the first thing I thought is like I went into like grandma mode, like, "Oh my dear, you're so skinny, you need to eat something." Like,
Well,
I'm
I
like,
miss
"Jesus
those
Christ,
days.
Sean," like,
I used to be able to run about maybe a mile or two almost nonstop back in those days. And now if I try to run like 5 steps, I'm out of breath. So yeah,
and I
but
gotta know, did you always have your Crow poster hanging on the side of looks like a dresser there, or
yes,
did you move it over
yes.
there so that it
No,
would be in the picture?
it all ended up just that's where I put the stuff in my room, and then I just sat there on the. I wanted to have it looking like when he's sitting on top of the building in the one scene. I was like really hardcore about this movie, and I was really hardcore about me trying to look as best as I could. And I'm still to this day, I look at that and I go, it's not perfect, but damn, it's
Oh,
freaking cool.
it's a good
I
movie.
still
They made like 2 or 3 sequels to it that are really
which
fucking terrible, but
absolutely horrible. Yeah,
but that movie is great.
So you guys
yeah.
have all seen The Crow?
Oh my gosh! Tell me you've seen The Crow, right? You've never seen The Crow?
I've never seen The Crow. Any of
Oh
them.
my
No.
gosh, that is painful.
Everything I know from just it being out there and
That
everybody
is
dressed
fucking
as him.
painful, man. We're doing a Halloween
The
special, and you're gonna sit here and say you haven't seen The Crow.
Is that really a Halloween movie though?
Yeah.
yes,
I would say it's based on Halloween, and yeah.
the whole movie takes place on Devil's Night, which is October 30th, and in the movie they have it that's the night in because it's in Detroit, if I remember right. It's
Yeah,
in
I think so.
Detroit.
That's
They're
how they
lighting
justified all the
fires.
murdering.
Yeah, basically. So like they're lighting fires and it's mischief night and all this stuff, and like the whole premise of the movie is Eric Draven and his fiance end up getting murdered in their apartment on Devil's Night. He gets thrown
Spoiler
out of the
alert.
window. this is literally the
guess
first
I
5
didn't
minutes of the
see it.
movie. First 5 minutes of the movie.
I
And basically, because of how tragic his death was, a spirit of a crow helps him come back to right the wrongs the next year. It takes him a year
Yeah,
to
way
come
to
back.
spoil a 25-year-old movie.
Would it
Yeah.
would it redeem myself if I've read the comics and just not seen the movie?
Not really.
That actually
no.
would impress me because the comics aren't as well known as the movie.
Okay. Well, I haven't read the comics either, so
Oh, you son of a.
I was just curious if it would have.
I want ticket number 1 on that hit the douche thing for that one. That was horrible.
Well, you'll be helping me set up the table, so yeah.
That's true.
You're,
I will say Brandon Lee's performance in that movie is one of the best acting performances, in my opinion, like that from that time period that I remember. And yeah, you not seeing that movie, I'm more ashamed for you than like the fact that you haven't seen like Conan and stuff like that. Like this is like, you gotta watch that at some point. Like, yeah, that's bad.
maybe I'll get to it. Do you think the sequels would have been better if Brandon Lee had lived and been able to do them?
The writing was pretty fucking terrible, but I would say that the acting performances were equally as bad. So, I mean, it would be better, but I don't know that they would be good unless they, had better writers. But
I feel like
the story
those
for the
movies-
first one is really good.
I feel like the sequels were like, oh, hey, this made a lot of money. Let's make more. Not, hey, we've got more story to tell. Let's tell a good story.
And it wasn't
I don't
him.
think they
It wasn't
even
the
carry
same character. They did like it was like the same story, but with different characters.
It basically it becomes okay if you get murdered, a crow will help you come back and help you get revenge for what happened. But like the sequel, I remember when the second one came out, it was the same as like the second Ninja Turtles movie, where I think it only took a year for them to put the second one out.
Oh yeah.
And I sat in the theater watching it going, this is absolutely ass horrible. Like
garbage.
Everything about it, like at least even with Eric, they had it like he's dead for a year. This one, he literally dies and 2 seconds later comes back from where because he ends up getting thrown off a pier and he comes out of the water. I'm like, that isn't even cool. Like, he literally got CPR basically. It wasn't even like he got resuscitated from the dead a year later. It was stupid.
Yeah, they got 94, 96, 2000, and 2005. And apparently there's one coming out next year. So maybe I'll just wait and see that one.
Is it like a reboot or is
They're
it?
I think so, because it's back to just the Crow. Like the other ones all have City of Angels, Salvation, Wicked Prayer.
Yeah.
And next year is just the Crow. So yeah.
They don't murder the star in it. So
Bill Skarsgård that did Pennywise actually is Eric this time around.
Oh, that might be good.
Let's see what happens.
And I get to go into it fresh. I'm like, oh, you guys, suckers.
I like this better. Sorry. This works for the time period. On top of that, all those
100%
songs on that soundtrack was amazing.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Next up,
the inevitable.
Yeah, this is me as Hordak. This is when my sister was in her She-Ra phase. So she had, for her birthday that year, she got a bunch of She-Ra stuff, and I loved the villains from She-Ra, and one of them was Hordak, and I saw this in the store, and I was like, that's who I want to be for Halloween, but with blue jeans, because I mean Hordak would be cooler with blue jeans, and yeah. So
because it's not even the costume, it's the play kit, right? With just
it's like the little torso piece and helmet, and then my mom even got, I don't think I had pictures in here, but my mom got pictures of like me like across from my sister, like she had the she was dressed up a full decked out with She-Ra, and like I'm sitting there like just being like pointing at her. I'm like, I don't know why I thought I was like, this is what Hordak does. He just points at people. So, yeah.
I love it.
I love, like, back then they did a lot of costumes where it was just like the plastic mask with the eye holes cut out, and then like the
schmuck.
vinyl Yeah, the smock. And so like the play kits like this where it had like some more stuff and usually had like weapons or something. I just thought these were a lot cooler. So yeah, that was my Hordak.
Oddly, the blue jeans really work for like that
It
Filmation
does.
look. It's
does.
kind of odd, actually. And next up, we've got Spider-Man with the Sword of Omens.
This is my Lion-O, and I did not have a wig. That is my hair, and my mom colored it orange for me.
Nice.
It came once again one of those play kits. It had the claw, had the sword, had a shield for some reason, which I didn't remember Lion-O having a shield, but it had a shield and then the little mask there. So I remember her trying to like get my hair that color. It was like an aerosol can that was like it wasn't like she just dyed my hair. Like it was some like aerosol can that was like a hairspray, but it also turned it a color. And so like trying to get it to get up into a form that looked somewhat like Lion-O was about an hour and a half affair.
Dude, but used like 3 cans of Aquanet on there.
Yeah. It was not. I tell you what. By the time I went out for Halloween, that hair was not going anywhere. It was super stiff. Yeah.
I remember that play kit though, because that's how I had my claw shield. I remember the shield itself, and I as a kid, I remember picking it up and then I like threw it like a frisbee because I'm like, what the hell are they going to do with that? Claw shield. But what I love is, and I completely forgot, is that sword had the upside down insignia on it, which I remember drove me crazy as a kid. Because it's like it's supposed to be like if you have the sword up like this, the logo looks right, and it's upside down. And like as a kid, that was another one where I got the electronic one later, and I'm like, screw this, I'm just gonna have the electronic one, but the claw shield, and that was all I
don't think I ever noticed the upside down logo. The thing that irritated me with it was that it was the smaller version of the sword, like before it like grows and stuff, and then it doesn't have like the sight beyond sight.
It doesn't have the rounding up.
Yeah, so it was like, okay, this is like the pre-cool Lion. I want the like post-cool Lion-O. So
I think for the 2000 Thundercats, I think their sword did like the like lightsaber telescoping thing where like you could make it grow,
Yeah.
So that was always cool. Welcome to the show, Greg, formerly the Brute Scale. Wholesome Warlock, welcome. I gotta say, Joe, obviously Curtis, like 2.0 is trash and everything. But I gotta say, if you're like keeping score, Joe and Greg show up to all the regular, real episodes. So you might want to.
I will say though,
Joe, because they were on the 2.0s.
Yeah. I will say that Joe is funnier in the comments though than on the show, because on the show he's very much like Jesse, where he doesn't want to interrupt anybody, so he'll just sit back and stuff. Whereas in the comments, like he's just throwing, like as soon as we were on that Michael Jackson, he's like throwing out that comment. Like he's not afraid to like just throw shit out there in the comments.
So maybe we just need to put him on a delay when he's on the show, so he has time to.
I think he just needs to like not be afraid to step on some toes. If you got something funny to say, fucking jump in there, man.
It could be.
Yeah.
Or you could Stephen Hawking it where he only speaks through keyboard. I mean, there's. So.
What the fuck?
He's just as white as Michael Jackson.
I made a funny.
I love it. And Joe, he wants to see you do this now, Curtis. So Legion's Con?
I do not have a Lion-O costume for Legion's Con. I do have something that I'm going to be bringing. I don't know when I'm going to, but I do have some. Yeah, I will be wearing something. I will not be naked at Legion's Con.
Oh, now I'm disappointed.
Now afraid.
But according to Jesse, no bath time, guys. So
you guys can do whatever you want. I'm just not getting in the bathtub with anybody.
Will you be in the corner or
no?
Oh.
When I go to the bathroom,
I'm trying to figure out where these lines are. You've got all these arbitrary rules that I'm trying to figure out.
If I am in the bathroom,
yes,
no one else is
in the bathroom.
Yeah, just remember, according to Jesse, if you smell a fart, That's poop particles, and it's in your mouth.
That's not according to me. That's freaking science. That's how smell works.
I have never thought that that's poop particles like that. Okay. Okay.
I mean, it didn't come out of your ear.
No. I just
Greg, where there's a will, there's a way. Damn it.
There is no will.
Oh, there's lots of will.
On.
We'll get Billy Beige in there. He's small. He'll fit.
Oh dear God.
And there was a death at Legion's Con when 4 bigger men put a small child into the temple.
I'll just be sleeping in the
We
company
will not
van
ask
I
any
drive to the
questions
convention.
beyond that.
us trying to fit into a bathtub together would be like the TVA when they put somebody in that cube and it keeps shrinking until they squish.
I love it. Spoiler alerts if you haven't seen season 2 of Loki. Next up, we got the amazing Jesse Arnold in some wonderful shades there.
I don't know why you're surprised. I wear shorts year round. Like, I don't understand why this is a surprise.
Because I always see you here. I don't get to see down there.
This is nothing special.
This is what I see.
Although I have to say, these were 2 of the dumbest costumes I've ever done because I wore those sandal things, and they're the most. And I'm at work. Like, this is me dressed up for Halloween at the comic shop. So this was like a 12-hour day that I'm working in these stupid flip-flop things, and it drove me nuts. But
just go barefoot. You're a habit.
So, I got a question about this one on the left. Did you have to carry that sign because nobody knew who the fuck you were? Or like, because I look at that and I go, "This is Big Lebowski," and I'm like, "Why the hell is he holding that?"
I did that specifically for the picture because when I walked in, it was probably a good half hour before my manager realized I was wearing a costume and not dressed like normal.
I just thought you
not
were
just
really
a
lazy
homeless
today, Jesse.
Because that is a bathrobe. It's plaid, but it is a bathrobe. I've never worn my pajama shorts to work, like to work. But yeah.
They didn't even realize you were in costume, huh? They're just like, "Oh, nope. Jesse's just taking it easy today. Apparently it's casual Friday."
Yeah.
Without the sign, Jesse's just a homeless guy.
Because like everybody, when you take your picture for the contest, you're supposed to hold up like a little sign with a number, because then we would go through and vote. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna write, the dude abides on. It's a comic backer board.
Mm-hmm.
I love the looking over top of the sunglasses too. It's a good pose.
Mm-hmm.
You take a good picture.
I mean,
can we unpack some trauma on this though? Why no childhood photos? What's going on here? Can you? I
mean, all right. If we want to get into this now, I mean,
yeah.
If you want to, or
I mean, it's not a long story. It's just not very exciting. I grew up fairly, I've said many times, conservative Christian home. We weren't one of those families that didn't. It wasn't like no Halloween, but we didn't like decorate the house for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was like a school thing. Was allowed to go trick or treating and stuff. And I usually had those costumes you're talking about, like the plastic mask with the basically like you buy like the disposable tablecloths at Walmart now for $1. That's essentially what the costume was. But it was like, it didn't even look, the ones I got never looked like a costume. It just looked like, oh, here's something that's got the colors of Grimlock, but it just says like Transformers across it, like an advertisement.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I'm sure, and I know those things were not, those things, I mean, they were cheap, but like, it's being the youngest of 5, like, it just wasn't something that we majorly did. And I was so much younger than the rest of my siblings. So,
okay. When you said you didn't have any pictures, like my mind, because of stuff that you've told us about your childhood, I was like, maybe they didn't allow him to go trick-or-treating. Maybe he doesn't have, I thought there was some like you didn't have anything because you were never allowed to celebrate Halloween.
No, I did. Like I said, it wasn't a thing we did. Like we didn't decorate the house for Halloween or anything like that. But I got to dress up for school. The school Halloween party, and I went trick or treating and stuff. Like But it was always like these costumes, just kind of like throw together whatever stuff I have in the house, or like cut clothes apart to make Hobbit shorts, to throw something together, because I literally think that was just a stick I found somewhere.
It's a good stick, man.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did you actually cut your hair, or is it just like tied back in that?
No, that it was that was actually cut off. I think that one was probably before the Lebowski one.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Or maybe after. I
hair,
don't know.
Jesse.
I've cut my hair and like shaved it completely down a couple times.
Mm-hmm. Mohawk.
Yep, had a mohawk for a while.
I tell you what, those outfits that you were talking about with like the tablecloth, and those things were hot as shit too. Like you'd see later on, like in high school, like wrestlers trying to like meet weight before like an event, and they'd like wear like the trash bags on them and stuff. That's basically what it was.
Yep.
So like you're going out and trick or treating and walking from house to house, and meanwhile you're just sweating your ass off.
I remember
you get hypothermia.
Begged for the Grimlock costume. I think that was like kindergarten or first grade.
Yeah,
maybe second grade, and I got it, and as soon as we went to go outside for like the parade through the blacktop or whatever, I'm pretty sure I tripped and like ripped the knee open.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I don't doubt it. Of course, that's a satchel, Joe. It's Jesse.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's my messenger bag.
And also, Morlock wants to know if you have ever sculpted your hair into a horn, like a Jesse corn.
Like Ed Grimley?
Like
No.
Jesse.
No.
Yeah.
Well, no, what's up then?
No.
All right. More Jesse.
All right, again, costumes at work. Sirius Black. And William Wallace Braveheart. Again, just
That's an
whatever.
awesome William Wallace. I love that.
Thank you. That's a real-ish sword.
I was going to ask you if you took that from your brother.
No, actually, I'm pretty sure Sean gave me that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's a replica Lord of the Rings sword.
yeah, that's
That I got
Strider's
at the
sword.
Renaissance Fair.
I figure you just like raided your brother's house and like took one of the
Nope.
ancient weapons.
No, and that's literally just like clothes I cut up, and then I just got plaid fabric and just like kind of tied a button into it for the kilt, and I have shorts on underneath it. It's not authentic because I'm not
And
Scottish.
no Jesse costume would be complete without the side satchel there.
That's a pouch.
Yeah, it's a pouch. It's a sack. It's a come on,
It's not a
it's
satchel.
satchels. Yeah, it's a different version of satchels.
You can call it a coin purse, if you will.
Got a couple mints in there at the bottom.
I'm not 75.
You just like fresh
shoot.
breath.
Hold on, kids. Let me get out my Werthers.
It's you got some crumpled up tissues in there. You got to pull it out of the tissue.
It's the costume and NASCAR driver.
I think the left one. I would think.
Like, because my shirt's tucked in?
Mm.
It's a vest. Okay, yeah, I have cargo pants because like I don't have like regular like dress pants because gross. I weirdly had dress shoes at that point in time for some reason.
But no dress pants, so you just had the shoes. Okay.
I had shoes. I think I was in somebody's wedding. Ugh. Weddings are the worst.
And last but not least, my personal favorite of yours, Jesse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
This AI is getting out of control. That is not me.
What's weird is that this was in our chat earlier today, and immediately Sean pre-ordered this.
Yes. He's got two of them. One to keep in that card.
One is the head of the dude abiding, and the other one is this head. I'm just going to keep that head on it, actually.
You know what's funny is that I've made so many memes with Jesse now that like in my little meme maker, I've just got like this is a standard head that I've got just cropped out, like waiting for memes. It's just sitting there.
Damn it.
Yeah, I have heads of all of you guys saved on my phones. You never know when you're gonna need them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. And yes, Greg did send me a picture of his costume, and it's funny. I don't know how to get it onto the screen,
Okay.
but it's funny. I don't know if he wants me to get it on the screen. I don't want to ruin his surprise.
I'm guessing that he's dressed as a hobbit because Greg screams hobbit when I look at him.
Yeah. Dashing on the
Beautimus.
All right.
What about the Dooch? Oh, there we go.
We got little 2-year-old Dooch in the little devil hood, and
I kind of knew that you were Satan.
yeah, see, it makes
Colored your whole world. Look at
it
that.
makes
Yeah.
perfect sense.
That picture looks like it comes from an era before you existed, except for like the TV.
Yeah, because you are younger. That does look too old of a picture. That's true.
Yeah, some of the light coming in through the window there, you can see it. But yeah, as obviously I don't remember it at all, but I remember that we've had this picture. I got a big photo album that my mom made as I was growing up, and I have now, and yeah, so definitely seen it a lot over the years. And then on the right there, that's around middle school time. But the mall was getting big, and you had Spencer's, and they had all the creepy masks on the wall.
Was this like your Cats phase?
Huh?
Is this like your Cats phase, like the Broadway musical?
No, it's hard to tell there, but it's more like a lizard person with like these big ass teeth.
Okay.
It's not a very good picture, but yeah, it's what I have.
King from Tekken. Greg did, when we're done with your pictures or our costume pictures, Greg did give permission, and I have it. I can pull it up.
I think we gotta eliminate Joe from 2.0 consideration because he's just so funny in the comments. I don't want him on the show.
I like how that makes sense.
It's like how a lot of shows won't let me on because then they lose out on super chats. So
I know. I
mean, you've super chatted your own show.
That's true.
That you're a part of, so that's not an impossible thing to do.
And then last up, and I'm glad I was able to find a picture of it because it is the costume that I remember most from my childhood, and I wore it for multiple years in a row. And that is, of course, my Raphael costume with the separate shell piece on the back, because most of them were like the smock or the one piece. This actually had like a separate shell piece that went on the back, and you can see I was so proud of it that I even made my mom take a picture of the back. And that's what I remember to this day was like I got the cool turtle costume with the back shell piece.
Jesse just pre-ordered this. That's awesome.
But yeah, I actually found, I only brought one picture into here, but I found multiple pictures from different.
Look at that smile, man. You are very happy with that costume.
Oh, it's one of those, like Jesse with the Grimlock. Like I saw it in the store and I wanted it. And then when my mom, I came home from school one day and she had it, and I'm like, it's amazing. And yeah, unlike, and as a kid, like obviously the smocks were cool and everything, but like this was like, in my mind, this was like Ninja Turtle. You know what I mean? It's got the bandana, it's got the shell, it's got all the arm. And
I like that it's got like the skull cap too.
Yeah. So, and
I like that there's just random stuff like laying on the floor. Like you guys didn't even bother cleaning up before the picture.
Nope, I threw my bucket right on the floor there and took the picture. That's my mom's purse there.
What's on your left pectoral there?
It's a picture of Raphael. Like it's
just in case so that people would know.
He got a tattoo of himself.
Right. Yeah, they always have to do that stupid shit. Like,
that's like your version of holding the sign that says the dude abides. Like, you're like, I'm just gonna put a sticker here just in case somebody doesn't know who I am.
Just in case the mom doesn't know when she's going through the store.
I just posed near the posters. I didn't take them with me. I'm just gonna say that.
Why is he wearing a mask? Is this like a turtle bandit? No, Mom, it's Raphael. Come on.
It's El Zorro as a turtle. What the hell is happening?
It's fraternity letters.
So yeah,
I don't know
those
that
are
can you
our.
brand a shell? I don't think you can brand a shell. That doesn't sound right.
You can brand anything.
All right.
Okay.
Can you
So
brand
Greg
me
wanted
for
us
this?
to share.
Yeah, you
Can
can.
you milk me?
I mean, you milk anything with nipples. So. There you go.
So apparently, this is what Greg is wearing this weekend. This wrinkly ass shirt that says, "This is my zombie costume," like before getting bitten.
I love it.
I went through a phase, and this is probably gonna just prove how fucking nut I am. But I went through a phase where I was
No one's questioning.
Okay, I was seriously concerned about a zombie apocalypse. Like, I was doing research on, whether it's possible for people to turn into zombies and stuff. And like, I was legit scared of zombie, like that happening. And so like I would, wherever I was at, whether I was out shopping or I was at my workplace or whatever, I had to have a zombie escape plan for like what would, wherever I was at to make sure that I could get out. And my mom at one point, I guess, found out about this, and she's like, I'm just gonna, because at the time I was like leaving for work really early in the morning, like 3:00 in the morning or something. She said, one day I'm just gonna like be outside your garage, so when you open the garage, I'm just gonna jump out and scare you. And I'm like, I'll fucking run you over. Like, I don't care. I don't like, even if you were my mom at this point, you're a zombie, so I don't care. Like, I'm gonna run you over first, and then find out if you were really a zombie. And if you weren't, then I'm gonna be like, well, that's your fault. Like, you shouldn't have done that. But yeah, like I was legit scared of, and I've even, like, I don't know, man. There's some shit like with voodoo, and there's like a parasite that can, like, make it to where people are more like you can kind of control them and stuff. It's weird shit, but I'm not near as worked up about it as I used to be. So there you go. That's a little insight to my nuttiness. So
That completely tracks.
yeah.
So guys,
I see this zombie preparation. I actually bought a zombie preparedness kit online. So yeah.
it just had like freeze dried brains that you could throw out. Like
It had like
decoy.
some fishing line with a hook that you could just like it didn't have a pole or anything, but I guess you just dip in the water. And it had they had some like tablets to like clean water or something. And it was just a bunch of like little crap like that you paid way too much for, because
it was the introduction to prepping gateway kit.
Yeah. This is
same thing.
Yeah.
All right. So
That was not a judgment call. That was just a statement.
Oh, we heard
understood. I mean, listen, like the whole what was the like right before 2000, the
Y2K,
man, people were freaking the fuck out. It was crazy. Yeah. Like bomb shelters and years and years supply of food, and yeah. So anyway,
So back
what's
to
next
Halloween.
on the Halloween agenda?
So what, you guys went out trick-or-treating.
Mhm.
Now try, if you can, to exclude, because I mean you get Snickers, you get M&Ms, you get all that cool shit, but like what was like your Halloween candy of choice? That candy that seemed like you could only get going out door to door. I'll go first because I've obviously had time to think about it. So for me, it was always the caramel apple pops. The suckers with the caramel coating around them. They were fucking delicious, man. They were green apple suckers. I'm not a big sucker guy, but something about those with the caramel around them, and the fact that like I mean, I'm sure they were at the store, but like they weren't up front with the register candy or anything. It was like, but they were that cool treat that was always in my bag on Halloween. I'd get a few of them around the neighborhood.
Are we going this way?
Yeah, sure.
My next, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
for me, it was probably like when I was really young, like they used to have the candy cigarettes out, and like you get the pack of cigarettes, and then eventually that kind of, I mean, you can still find them in some kind of candy boutique stores, but for the most part, they've kind of phased that out. But on Halloween, they would have like the little boxes with like a superhero or something on it.
Yep.
And have just a couple of those sticks. And that was really about the only time of year that I could still get those. So I would say that would probably be the big one for me, that it was like I would try to trade like the actual candy bars, like the Butterfingers and the, Snickers and everything for the candy sticks. And then, I was a big candy stick guy. So
Those were awesome. Candy cigarettes with superheroes on them, like.
I don't know what the connection is, and they wouldn't call them candy cigarettes; they would call them candy sticks.
I remember them always being called candy cigarettes growing up.
When you bought like the pack of Luckies or whatever,
Yeah.
but like the Halloween ones, it would
Maybe
just
they
be
were-
like Superman candy sticks or whatever.
Smoke with Superman. All the cool
Right.
kids smoke with
Look 'em if you
Superman.
got them.
I imagine like somebody at the candy stick, like up in the management, they're like, okay, well, we can't keep marketing these as cigarettes, so we got to figure out something else to do because we've got this product, and let's just slap some superheroes on.
We've
it.
already made fucking
Yeah.
20 years worth of them. We got sitting
Right.
in this warehouse here.
Well,
I
yeah,
always
because
just like
we made
you
one
would bite
batch
into 'em
ever.
and they would be like hard as a fucking rock,
Oh,
like
yeah.
they were like 20 years old. So,
It's
I
like
just
the
loved when
bubble
you-
gum
you would-
in baseball cards.
Yeah.
You bite into those and you're basically killing your tongue. Yeah.
what's that,
when
Jesse?
you blow into the candy cigarettes, like I always tried to make like the powder like blow out the end so it would look like smoke. I think I almost passed out a couple times
You talking
trying
about
to
the
do it.
bubblegum ones?
Mm-hmm.
Because
No,
they had bubblegum
the ones that were the
that-
no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
it was the white chalky
Yeah,
candy
Yeah.
cigarettes.
I get what he's saying.
I don't think you were supposed to do it. It was just something my dumbass did. Was like, oh, cigarettes are supposed to blow smoke, so I just be like blowing on as hard as I could. I think one time I almost passed out. I was trying so hard.
They had a gum cigarette thing at one point that had like a
Yeah.
wrapper around it, and
Yeah.
then they coated it in like, I don't know what the fuck it was, like flour or something, and so you would blow on it and it would shoot like a smoke cloud out the other end. So
Nice.
yeah.
Jesse, what were you trick or treating hoping someone would drop into your sack?
I think I just didn't want to get like an apple or like.
Or nickels. Yeah. You ever get
I
that?
don't
Like,
remember ever
Oh,
getting
I like
nickels.
getting money.
I remember
yeah, somebody
that.
would throw
Yeah.
change in mine. I was like, come on, man. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a sugar fiend, so I liked all of it. The things I didn't like were like Mounds and Almond Joys. Like I didn't like getting those.
Mhm.
Probably at the time because I never got the boxes in the stores. I always liked the boxes of dots. I mean, there was only like 3 or 4 of them in there, but I always loved dots.
Yeah.
Those were like one of my road trip candies when I go on a long trip. So
I hated the sour stuff. Like anything sour, I was like,
Oh, no, I love sour stuff.
like the little, remember those little packets of sweet tarts? It would have just like 2 sweet tarts in it.
Yes.
Man, I'd just like trade those away or give them away if I couldn't trade them.
Joe, I love popcorn balls. Popcorn
you would,
amazing.
you probably like black licorice too.
I don't. No.
Okay,
No.
good.
Do you have one of those
Little piece
people in
of
the
food.
neighborhood that would give you like toothbrushes?
Yeah, we had a dentist.
Oh, Come on.
That guy's house got egged every year, probably.
No, but he always dressed up as Batman, like 89 Batman,
Mhm.
and his, I assume, wife always dressed up as Catwoman. And so,
That's just their foreplay, and that's all that's happening. That's
As-
just
as-
Thursday night to them.
as I
Yeah,
got
they're just
They
waiting
just
for the
walk
kids to
out
go
the
home
door.
so they could do their eyes
Exactly.
wide shut.
as I got older, she could drop whatever you want in there. That's fine.
Nice. Nice.
They got Danny DeVito waiting upstairs.
I ever-
Sitting in the corner like Jesse at Legion's Con.
Dude is still trick or treating after hitting puberty, and he doesn't even care about the candy anymore. He just wants to see Catwoman
what?
lady.
What am I doing at Legion's Con?
A treat
No, what-
could be
what-
deadlier if you mean it.
We got it. Sean, what treat were you hoping?
I'm
Not
having a
Kevin.
hard time. So I know there might have been one or two times where I got one of those the lollipops that it was like it would have the fruit flavor, but then there'd be like cream mixed in with it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
were all sorts of fun to me because it's like you get all sorts of different sugary flavors all at once, which was really cool. And then I'm pretty boring when it comes to like candy that I love. So for me, it was like you give me some Reese's peanut butter cups, and I am the happiest camper, and I just run home and just start gorging on those. Because like when I was a kid, the one that I was Mounds on and Joy, I'm right there with Jesse. But the other one, because it reminded me of my dad too much, was Snickers. If you threw Snickers in there, I automatically just handed them to him because I just was like, Dad likes those. I don't. I don't know
Wow.
what it was that I didn't like. I've turned around about them as I've gotten older though. But yeah, peanut butter cups.
Those little mini Snickers, you throw those in the freezer. Hell yeah. Little frozen little mini Snicker. Yeah.
See, like that and Mars bars were like his and Kit Kat, and those I branded those as old people candy because he was so much older than me, and now that I'm older, I'm like starting to go, hey, Kit Kat, good. Like I really want a Kit Kat. And I'm like,
Yeah.
where did this come from?
I always love Snickers. Did anybody ever eat those little black and orange wrapped candies?
Oh, I love those. The little the taffy things. The
They're
like
like
peanut butter taffy
peanut
or
butter
whatever.
taffy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't know. And those were like the candy that just like appeared. You never saw them anywhere, but on Halloween you would always get a bunch of them in your bag.
Yeah, they were awesome. I love those.
Joe says he just leaves his work clothes on and goes as a zombie. That's actually what my wife keeps bugging me to dress up, and I keep saying like, "Oh, I'll just go as a chip delivery guy," you know.
Yeah, crunch into a microphone.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun for all ages. So how Curtis brought up a good point earlier. How old were you guys when you stopped trick-or-treating? I mean, about, obviously.
I think I went till I was like 13 or 14.
Yeah.
And then at that point, there was a point in time when I stopped trick-or-treating and I started handing out candy with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And we would watch, like, I was not a scary movie guy. But at that point, when I switched and stopped trick-or-treating, me and my mom would watch scary movies. And I'm talking about, like, we'd put on, like, Hellraiser and turn off all the lights in the house, but we would still have the light outside on. So, like, people would come to the door and ring the doorbell, and it would scare the fuck out of us because we're sitting there watching, like, you know,
nice.
These terribly scary movies. But that's just one of those times that I think back with great fondness of, like, just hanging out with my mom and, you know, enjoying that while, you know, my sister and my dad and stuff would go out trick-or-treat, and it was just me and my mom watching scary movies and, you know, just getting the piss scared out of us every time that somebody came to the door. So
nice.
I think for me, I don't remember. It must have been maybe like 6th grade, because I think 7th grade was when like the Halloween dance thing started happening.
Oh.
And I don't know why I wanted to go, because like I never had a date.
Yeah.
I didn't dance, but I was like, oh, I get to go dress up and hang out with people from school. Like, I can't say that it was a good decision, but it was like an excuse to dress up.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it was probably around between 5th and 6th grade, probably somewhere in there. So like I was like 11, between like 11 to 12. Just because Sean and I both, well, I won't speak for Sean. I lived out not as far into the countryside as he did. Well, he lived up on the side of a mountain, but like going trick-or-treating meant like getting a car and driving like another town over where I didn't know anybody anymore. So it wasn't like a group of people. I was just like my mom, you know, driving down the street, making sure I wasn't getting kidnapped or something. You know, it just wasn't as fun anymore the last couple of years I went, because I was on my own.
Yeah. I know there was like we used to sponsor families that came in from overseas at in Carlisle, 30 minutes from here. There's a Army War College. So my dad would basically draft me, no pun intended, but he would just go, "You're going to take the kids from the family out trick or treating in their neighborhood this
Sure.
year." So then I'd have to dress up, and then I'd end up getting some candy just because somebody's like, "Oh, look, you're helping them. That's nice. Here's a Snickers," and then I'd be like, "Fuck you, Snickers," or whatever. And then I want my peanut butter cup. Give me the peanut butter cup. But I was probably, I want to say 14, 15 maybe, I guess. And then after that, like Jesse, I went to the middle school. They did a Halloween dance every year. And the thing that was interesting about that was the one year that it happened, we had a prison riot. And the prison was not far from the middle school we were in. It was in the same town.
Oh, that'll make for a
And
fun Halloween.
well, that's what
Yeah.
years later we did a thing in high school where a student could be mentored by one of the teachers, and I was mentored by our art teacher from middle school because he went over to the high school later on, and he was telling me about how like he was one of the chaperones there. He's like, that was one of the scariest things I ever signed up to do when it came to school, because how was I to know that nobody behind that mask was a freaking inmate that got out of the prison and showed up and wanted to like, and when he's telling me this story, I'm like, this is amazing horror movie material, right?
Oh,
here.
yeah,
We need
that'd
to
be a
write
great
this stuff
movie.
down.
Dude, you lived
But,
through Halloween, literally. Like,
So there was that, and then when I was the Crow, it was like, when you were in high school, I got invited to parties each year. So then I'd end up getting dressed up, and I'd just go to a party dressed up like the Crow. And then like when I was younger, I was lucky that maybe I'd get a phone number because a girl thought I looked cute for a little bit. And then I showed up looking like myself, just like, like
where'd the hair go?
put the wig on for me. And it's like, oh, okay.
I kind of want you to put the wig on for our next Legends episode. That's,
I don't have it anymore. I couldn't even tell you where the thing is anymore.
we'll find one, don't worry.
It'd be like the emo toy view.
Yeah.
Everything sucks. I'm Sean. Welcome
Have him
to
come
my
on as a
world.
whole different character.
You're like, what
Having-
was it?
having
Azrael
Sean-
from Saturday Night Live. Like, I'm Azrael, Prince of Darkness.
Yeah. having Sean in that black wig and then Emil in the blonde one, they would look like Wayne's World.
Oh, I smell a sick
Party
coat.
time. Excellent.
What about you, Dooch? When did you stop trick or treating, or are you still doing it?
Well, now with the kids, even they're getting to the age where they can go out on their own. And my oldest son, he's at that stage where he still likes to dress up, but he'd rather just stay at home and pass out candy. And grandma and grandpa usually come over and stuff, and so he's enjoying that time now. But for me, we went all the way through high school because it was kind of starting to peter out towards the end of middle school there, where it was just like me and one buddy, and we'd only go out for a little bit or whatever. But then getting into high school, and then I joined up with the drama club, and so like that opened the door to a whole bunch of kids that helped me more embrace some of these kids would just dress up randomly, kind of like cosplay.
So you were a drama kid?
Oh hell yeah, all the way. I
That
did.
explains so
Makes
much.
so many things
Yeah.
click into place.
Yeah,
Just so much.
yeah. So yeah, I did. I did drama. I did student directing, stage crew, all that. So
God, you're one
Yeah.
of those. All right.
it was great.
I do remember
Yeah,
the
we'd go out with the whole fucking drama club. We'd all load up. I'd take my dad's truck. They'd all be in the back, and we'd like cruise.
like back before seatbelts were necessary.
Oh yeah, we had the cab filled, then we had the whole bed filled. There's probably like 20 of us. Just yeah, it was
It's like a clown car on Halloween.
I do remember the last Halloween that I actually went out trick or treating. Me and some buddies from school basically had been talking. We're like, oh yeah, this is probably the last year we'll be able to go out or whatever. And so like we all talked to our parents about letting us just go on our own and do our own thing.
Yeah.
and we had a plan to get the most candy that
Right.
you could ever get for Halloween. And so we started early, and we were literally sprinting from house to house and probably hit 7 streets that were pretty long streets. And like we were jumping fences to get to the next like area and stuff. And
Ooh, did
we
you
didn't even have bags. We brought pillowcases with us.
pillowcases?
And
Mhm.
we filled up. I know my pillowcase was more than halfway full.
Did you
And
do the costume change so you could hit the houses again?
no, that would have been a good idea. But we were on a total sprint from like, I don't know, like 6:30 p.m. or something. It was just starting to get dark until the last light went off on the last house. Like we were just running.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a pretty good haul that year. So
Go out with a bang. I love
Yep.
it.
I remember one of the last times I went, one of my brother, Joe, he took me and I said something. I was like, yeah, we're going to go over here and then like, hit up that street. And then he's like, stop saying hit it up. Like, you even thought I was going to like get us arrested because I was like planning some sort of crime. It's like, it's just me and I want to get candy.
Put the candy right in my veins. Come on. Oh.
He's freebasing Snickers. Holy shit.
And he also, not Halloween Store, but he also got embarrassed because like we'd seen what was it? Oh, what was the Nick Cage movie where they're stealing cars? Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh yeah.
And when he goes into the diner and he's like, he like,
I know.
I forget what he says. He's like, we're just gonna sit here. And it's like, like he like over exaggerated the white guy saying something that a white guy doesn't say. And like, I think I said something like that at a restaurant once, and my brother was like, shh, he got like all embarrassed. I was like, what? And I just kept doing it louder and louder. And it was good times.
Good movie. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah, that's all right. So
Next on the Halloween agenda.
I got distracted there. So obviously lots of television shows would have their Halloween episodes. Who do you remember growing up having the best Halloween episodes?
Simpsons,
Oh.
Treehouse of Horrors.
Respect.
Yeah, they just, like some of that stuff was actually really creepy. Like
Yeah.
they went all out, and I just liked that, it was like, I mean, you're sitting there watching The Simpsons for, 20 plus years or whatever, and they never age. They're all the same. So it's pretty much like, it almost resets after the end. So seeing stuff where like they could die or people, different things would go on, or like different alternate versions of themselves. It was just really cool. But yeah, they did a really good job with that.
You'd usually get the aliens on those episodes, which I always liked them a lot. Still, the shitting is still one. Me and my friends would quote that all the time. Oh, you mean The Shining? Quiet, boy. You want to get sued? Yeah, Treehouse of Horror for sure.
I'll be honest, that's the only one I really think I can remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know TV shows like sitcoms and stuff
Yeah.
did that, but I just don't recall any of them.
I don't remember a lot of Halloween like episode specials, except for there was a movie, I guess it came out in the late 70s, but it would play around Halloween called Witches Night Out.
Never heard of that.
Everybody was kind of like, I think it was like these 3 teenagers, they make fun of a witch or something, and so she turns them into the monster costumes they're wearing or something like that. And I remember it like I loved watching it because it was very colorful and very bright, but it also kind of like weirdly freaked me out at the same time. So I haven't seen it in forever, but let's see if this jogs anybody's memory.
The spinning
You
circle.
recall
Yeah.
that spinning circle?
Yeah.
What the?
No, I don't recognize
Not
it.
at all. Is that what?
Yeah,
you
it-
did?
It looks like something out of Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Or like some yellow submarine type.
Yeah, it's from 1978. It's a really weird, like I can't tell you exactly how it played out, what happened, but I remember always wanting to watch it. I think because like the one kid I think got turned into this orange like cat monster or something, and I just cartoon animals.
Dominic Espinosa, welcome, and he's right there with you. He said it was badass.
Right, there you go. So
you are not crazy.
Number one Mexican meme maker. So.
Yes, we got to get some of that action.
I was trying to think of cartoons that did Halloween stuff. The only one I can think of is like Looney Tunes, like Bugs Bunny had some ones where they had like the big orange guy or whatever, and they would do like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, was the Daffy Duck had the Quackbusters? Was that it?
I don't recall that. But...
Yeah, it was it had like a bunch of different shorts through it. It's probably just like those cartoons just repackaged. But yeah, it was just kind of all of those kind of Halloween-y, spooky. Where Bugs winds up in Transylvania and the Dracula keeps trying to get him, and
Oh, I'm a fire.
When Gossamer, like
I'm an umpire.
He gets Gossamer, the big red monster, he's with just the eyes. He gets him like sitting there, and he's got his fingers up, and he's like doing like the pedicure and everything.
Exactly. Yeah, and like there was one where Tweety turned into like a Mr. Hyde, and everything. So yeah,
those were great. And I always loved the Disney. I think it was longer than just like a regular like 7-minute short, but it might be. What was it? Where Mickey, Donald, and Goofy are essentially Ghostbusters. Like it's an old. And they go into the house. We had one of those. Not the Viewmaster, but the one that you like cranked.
Yep.
But
it was white, and you could. You could play the movie at your own.
And it was like a cassette tape that you plugged into it.
Almost like an 8-track.
But it like.
Yeah.
We had that, so I was really excited when we finally had like a VCR or had the Disney Channel. I was able to actually see the whole version of that cartoon. So that
Ghostbusters.
I don't know if they were ghosts, but were they hunting the ghosts, or they went into a house and there were ghosts and they were trying to fight them off.
They were running a ghost busting business, and the ghosts call them because the previous owners run out. So then they call them to come over, and they want to scare somebody, and they come in there like Ghostbusters, only they have like rifles and nets and things like that.
Now that I'm seeing it, it's all there, but I would not have been able to pull that out of my mind. But yeah, that's one of the best. I forgot about that completely.
Apparently, the cartoons that we grew up with, like your He-Man, Transformers, G.I. Joe, did any of them do like a Halloween type show or anything? I don't.
Transformers. I know Garfield had a Halloween special.
Garfield had a
with like
but that was like an actual special. That wasn't like that was before the animated series came out.
Yeah, that was when it was all just specials all the time. Whenever Garfield, until Garfield,
because like there was a Charlie Brown. There's the Great Pumpkin. They've got all the like cartoon things like that had their own like seasonal or holiday themed shows, but I don't remember any of those things having specifically themed episodes back then.
If anything, maybe G.I. Joe. That's the one that I could kind of see it working with.
Ghostbusters did.
Well, I mean, like He-Man did a Christmas episode, so I didn't know if maybe they put some. I just didn't remember anything like that, but. The Stooges had some like scary episodes that, like there'd be some sort of monster chasing them and stuff. That would be kind of terrifying.
I know.
I don't know if you guys were Stooges fans. I love the Three Stooges.
I can't tell you the name of any of the episodes or the shows or anything, but I remember trying to watch stuff where we had a tape of like, a collection of them or something back in the day. And I know Sean's talked about them before, the Laurel and Hardy meets the monster movies.
Yeah, I need to watch that.
What did I say?
Frankenstein is. You said Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah, I meant Abbott and Costello.
Abbott and Costello. The Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein is freaking great. I was amazed how seriously the monsters were treated compared to what I thought it was going to be. Yeah, They Real Ghostbusters had Sam Hain. I think they had one. They had an episode, I think, like when Halloween was forever or
Mhm.
something like that,
Hmm.
and that was like that was a Halloween special. I think that they ran in the primetime era. But
A quick.
no, like
Sorry, go ahead, Sean.
no, go ahead. I was gonna throw my stuff in the mix, but go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just a quick Google search here. GI Joe did have an episode where Cobra Commander relocates to Transylvania and creates an undead army. So
Oh wow!
Of course he does. Of
there's
course he does.
that. Jem had a Halloween episode. There was some of that. Ninja Turtles. They had a Halloween episode where they're able
Really?
to go to Channel 6 and like mingle with everybody because they think they're in costumes.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends had the Bride of Dracula episode where Dracula shows up and tries to make Firestar his bride. So,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
What did you have, Sean?
There were a couple. Roseanne.
yes.
They always went all out on Halloween, and the one that I remember in particular, they let their house be a haunted house for the night, and they let like the trick or treaters had to go through the whole gauntlet to get the treats by the end of it, and then it was like Dan was interviewing for a job or something, and the guy that he was interviewing had to come over that night to talk to him, so they put him through the whole thing, and the whole point was they wanted to get him scared on Halloween. So Roseanne's like, play along with me. I need to do this to get my husband back for something. So they did the whole thing, and by the end of it, he's literally like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he's freaking out. And it's like, gotcha. And I love that. And
Yeah,
then
they
the
did some
other
like
ones-
like gross stuff where they'd like saw an arm off and there'd be like blood squirting everywhere. And
yeah.
That was like
And-
the first show to do where like the parents were like
The parents
"Ooh,
were just into it.
Halloween."
Exactly.
Yeah.
because
And
it
the
was always
kids were like, this is ridiculous.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other one in the last few years, probably more than that now, Community. They had pretty much every Halloween they would do something that it ended up being like a 20-minute movie.
Yeah.
And like the one that I'm thinking of the most is they had the party, but then the dean let everybody have the tacos that with the MRE, the rations. So then it ended up making people turn into zombies and they're biting each other. And that was the one with Abed and what the heck is I can never
Troy.
remember. Troy and Abed. They were doing Troy was the load lifter in Aliens, and Abed was the alien. And then there was another one either the year before or after where Abed was Batman. And the whole episode he just talked like Batman. He wouldn't talk like Abed. He was just Batman through the whole thing. So
I'm not sure if you guys watched or do still watch Modern Family, but
Yes.
the one family on there, Claire, she's like
Dunphy's.
Yeah, the
they're
ultra
totally into
competitive.
Halloween, and so like they do like the big haunted house and
yeah,
all the decorations and stuff, and to Dooch's point earlier about Roseanne, like it's like interesting dynamic to see like the parents getting so into it and not really the kids.
They did a good one on that one. I'm glad you brought that one up too, because the one where Phil was trying to sell the old house on Halloween.
Yeah.
And he's like last family of the night, they just leave. Then all of a sudden he's getting a phone call. The TV turns on. He's like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And then they just scare him in the bedroom and all that in the top, the second floor. And then that one also has one of my favorite lines. It might be the same episode. There are kids that come around to Jay and Gloria's house, and they're like trick or treat. She goes, "You're too old for trick or treat." So then they egg the house. She gets out she comes out the front door and she goes, "You egg my house. I kill what you love." And she chases them down the street. Every time I hear that line, I'm literally in tears with how she delivers it. She's like, "Kill what you love."
I love it.
I gotta throw one more classic thing out there.
Sure.
The Will Vinton's claymation comedy of horror. So the guy that did the California Raisin stop motion clay, there was like the Christmas special. They have a Halloween one called Comedy of Horrors, and this pig and some people, they go to this haunted house, and it's ridiculous. It's something I've not seen in a long time, and I'd like to rewatch it just to
Pull up a
see
picture because I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
if I could. Would pick up on different things now that I did not pick up as a kid when I watched it.
Nope, I'm not recognizing this at all. Jesse, watch some.
Yeah, I got nothing.
stuff.
I didn't see this one.
But you know what I'm talking about with the Christmas one,
The
right?
California Raisins. Yeah, I remember.
I've seen the
that.
Yeah.
raisins.
Mm-hmm. I was like the Christmas one.
Yeah, it's the
because of
same guy that did that. Like, here's the Christmas one. They
Yeah.
had a
Yeah.
whole bunch of different raisins doing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
And they had
but
the one with the three
the other
wise men
one.
and the camel.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it was great. It's weird as crap,
Curtis.
and I don't know. I might not be able to handle it now, but yeah.
I need to look that one up because I've never remembered that. The Garfield Halloween special is the one that I remember the most, other than the Peanuts with the Great Pumpkin. I mean that one for me was like every year if that was on, I had to watch that episode.
Wow,
Yeah.
you really pissed Curtis off with the claymation. His family was killed by clay figures.
I just got cold. I had to get a sweatshirt on.
Damn it, we're trying to get clothes off here.
Sorry. I thought that was Jesse.
But I'm hoping if I can get other people to do it, it'll be like the peer pressure thing. So he'll have.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work on Jesse.
Yeah, Sean, tell him about how peer pressure works on me.
It does.
I don't have a specific story. I'm just.
I don't remember ever trying to peer pressure you.
I've
No,
noticed-
you didn't.
beautiful.
You didn't.
I've noticed as you lose extra padding and body weight, like you feel colder. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Good for you. I never feel cold.
I was watching the Cabal today. They had Tomas and Emil on there, and they were talking about Americans and how we have to have our ACs on all the time, and they were amazed by that last year in the hotel, how much people in America want to have the ACs on. I'm like, first of all, hotel rooms are not comfortable, and yeah, you got to have that thing full blast. Like, if you don't have that air conditioner on in a hotel full blast, you're a communist. I don't know. There's no other way around it. So
That is true.
but then John from Euroleague just jumped in. He said the same thing. He's like, I don't know. I guess they just don't use their ACs as much over there. So
They don't have ACs. Like when the couple of times I've gone to England, the hotel.
Have you gone to England? I don't
Yeah.
think we've ever heard
Tell
of
us
it.
about
don't
that, Jesse.
remember them having air conditioning in the hotel. Now, granted, it was nice enough that I didn't necessarily need it, but
Yeah.
I like to be cold when I sleep, and
I
I'm
didn't
just
know that
glad I
you've been
didn't go
outside
during the summer.
States. That's interesting.
I will say that just throwing it out there on Ted Lasso, he actually said on the final episode that he knows now that air conditioning is a privilege and not a right.
Yeah,
So
that's true. I forgot
That
that.
automatically cemented that for me. Like, oh, okay, that's an interesting comment to make.
But the only thing I can throw out there that you guys haven't already covered is Home Improvement was another one where they always had some really good. And the same thing, really. It's something about that early 90s where they really started to take it from just a kid's holiday to like, hey, this can be a whole family thing.
Mm.
And that was always really cool.
Yeah, it's not pagan anymore.
No, not pagan.
But it is.
Everything is if you trace it all back.
Well, no. I know, and like I don't like. I'm not gonna run down that rabbit hole.
We
but,
go in
like,
there yet? We'll say that for our winter solstice special.
No. I just saying, like, for the people who like me that grew up, not having it as much as like in my family as something we did.
Yeah.
Like Halloween, like Christmas, has become just a large commercial holiday.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there might be religious connections to it for a lot of people. For a lot of people, for both of them and a lot of other holidays, it not so much. It's just a thing to buy stuff and celebrate family or do whatever. So like, I'm not one of those people that gets offended because you're not celebrating Christmas or whatever holiday the way I think my thoughts on it should be, like, so Halloween, that's one of the things I like about the movie Trick or Treat.
You're okay with people feeling and thinking differently than you?
Well,
yeah, have you not caught
he
on
has
to that
been
yet?
to Europe, so he's more.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? I thought people today aren't supposed to feel that way. So they don't think like you. They're evil.
I will say though, as a kid, Halloween felt like the most kid holiday to me. Because I mean, obviously, like Christmas, you get all the presents and everything, but there's still a lot of like, we got to go to church and we got to go to grandma's and we got, you know what I mean?
I could see that. I would say 4th of July is pretty close too with fireworks and stuff. But yeah,
see, my family,
yeah,
my family, we didn't do fireworks. So
really,
I mean, we go see them.
Yeah. That's
but like my mom was, you'll blow your hand off type thing. So
you'll shoot your eye out.
Yeah, we had sparklers, which I did a sparkler. So
yeah, we had sparklers.
Make some sparklers. Are the
fireworks were illegal in Pennsylvania.
Oh, sorry, that's a Joe Dirt reference, and I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've seen it.
Okay.
It's pronounced Dierte.
Yeah. Don't try to church it up, boy.
Yeah. So yeah, it was always exciting getting into Halloween season, and it just felt like, oh, this is our time. We get to dress up real cool. I got my turtle shell, and we're gonna get a big ass bag of candy. Like it's one night, maybe a party at school, but that was it. And
I know one time my candy would probably last a week, maybe 2. My brother had Halloween candy one year, and he still had some left over by the time the next Halloween came around.
Oh,
and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like what?
I might be able to have made that stretch till Christmas if I got it all, but that's
what do you mean, like a piece a week or something? Like, come on. Like,
man, mine never made it to Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
that's probably more accurate.
Is that American enough for you, Joe? A little sugar fiend over here just chomping all the candy down in a week.
Oh. Go to the corner when you get home and shove it all in.
Yeah.
All right.
What's next on the Halloween agenda?
Last thing I got here for you guys. I know this was a big problem when we were growing up and everything, so I want to know how you guys were personally affected by it. How often did you guys find drugs and razor blades in your candy? Because I know it was
not nearly as much as the news prepared me for.
We used to have the local hospital would advertise that they would do, if you went to the emergency room on Halloween night, that they would scan your candy bag for you before,
because that's what you need, is some radiation.
Yeah, that's gonna be fine to make sure there were no razor blades.
Yeah,
and obviously all the drug lords were like, yeah, give that dime bag to that 8-year-old kid.
Yeah, I didn't have any razor blades, but now I got throat cancer.
Sean, Jesse, ever find anything
other than those Snickers that threw out the window? Yeah, that was
Snickers.
I've signed some paperwork. I'm not allowed to discuss that.
Oh, okay, you got
Gotcha.
You took the settlement. I got you. All
right. I find that often, like I haven't.
I love you, Joe.
I haven't known a whole lot of
You're the
drug
best
dealers
party
in my
people I
life,
know.
but I know a lot of times drug dealers are like, hey, we got to find something to do with all these extra drugs that we have. Like, can we just find somewhere to give it away? Because making money is just getting old. And so, yeah, they see Halloween as a way to kind of get rid of their surplus drugs for free.
Yes, because
You know what I think really happened
No.
is
What?
kids went by a drug house.
Yeah.
sure.
And the
as you
people
do.
inside were like, "Oh man, the kids are here. We got to give them something." They throw some random crap they had laying around and accidentally dropped like a used syringe in the bag or something like that, or like
let
someone
me
was just sitting around like, "All right, maybe they're injecting stuff in the Snickers."
let me
Probably
offer an
didn't mean to give
alternative
that candy out.
solution. Okay.
what's the kicker?
This is my idea. Some kids actually went out and bought drugs, and then when they got caught, they were like, "Oh, somebody must have thrown that in our bag while we were trick or treating."
I was thinking along the same lines, like dad's going with the kids. He freaking pops into the alley, buys some from his dealer, and just sticks them in the kid's bag to get home. And then his wife finds it, and he's like, "Oh shit! I can't believe someone put that in there."
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, I think
I
both
wonder
are
if I watched
fully
it, yeah.
plausible options.
Um,
And the fact that there might be a couple of really sick weirdos out there that wanted to be like, "Oh, let's poison the children," I was more afraid about some guy driving up on the side of the road, not at Halloween,
Yeah.
and offering me like a sheet of like paper candy that was like laced with LSD and kidnapping me. That, for some reason, that was burned into my mind as
Mm-hmm.
something that would happen.
Yes, unmarked white vans were supposed to be a very big problem for us.
you
Wasn't
guys
even
up
that
for
specific.
This Week in Theaters?
Yeah, we can do that, and then we can go into our movie review.
Beautiful.
Let's do it.
Random number generator. We have
Man,
1981
I
to
made Sean
2010.
watch a scary movie last week. I thought we were going to talk about scary movies.
We are going to talk about a scary movie that you were supposed to watch, so hopefully you watch it.
1999. So
Woo!
there we go.
Ooh,
I'm seeing Phantom Menace.
And let's see.
I'm not.
Sleepy Hollow.
That was
We
such
are
a-
going to 1999, the year
80.
1999. And we are looking for October 27th is right here. Here we go.
The best, man.
Number one, The Best Man. So there you go. Just before his best friend's wedding, life of a Chicago writer becomes crazy when his best friend guesses that his new book story is based on his bride's fervent past.
I
Fervent.
love Evan Curtis. read this.
Fervent past.
The picture looks more familiar than anything.
I don't recognize
Passionate
that at all.
intensity is what that word means.
Okay. Double Jeopardy with Tommy Lee.
Yeah.
Woman framed for her husband's murder. Okay.
With Ashley Judd. That's the way you sell that movie.
With Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee is amazing.
Mhm.
Fight
Ashley
Club.
Judd.
I don't think we need to explain that. People know what Fight Club is.
Never seen it.
Bringing Out the Dead.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
Haunted by patients he failed to save. Monumentally burned out Manhattan ambulance paramedic fights to maintain his sanity over 3 increasingly turbulent nights. That's very Halloween-y right there.
With a little Christmas Carol.
Hmm.
3 nights.
Story of Us. That looks like garbage. Looks like
I
Michelle
love that
Pfeiffer
movie.
and
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. You
It's
say
a
you
great
love that movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. American Beauty.
Yeah.
Sexually frustrated suburban father. Bats.
Bats.
Freaking bats.
Genetically mutated bats escape. We're definitely hitting that Halloween time of movies coming out. And it's up to
they
bat
even put-
experts and the local sheriff to stop them.
They put the font upside down on
Yeah.
the poster because they're bats and they hang upside. Oh.
Crazy stuff.
The Adventures of Elmo and Grouchland. Yes.
3 to Tango. Okay, rich businessman's assumption that his new colleague is gay leads him to ask the man to keep an eye on his mistress. However, the man is not gay and begins falling in love for the woman himself.
I think I've seen
Uh,
it, actually.
When someone hiding their sexuality was the whole plot of a 90s comedy.
Mhm.
There you go. 3 Kings. That's Wahlberg, right?
Yep.
Rooney.
In the aftermath
Looney.
of the Persian Gulf, four soldiers set out to steal gold that was stolen from Kuwait. And last but not least, we have The Sixth Sense, because you can't have enough Bruce Willis in this top 10. So there you go. So you're going back to 1999. These are your 10 movies. What are you seeing? We'll start with Dooch and work his way up. So, Matt, what are you seeing?
First off, it sounds really weird when you call me Matt. I don't know.
I'm sorry. Douche.
Thank you.
What are you seeing?
Much better. This is an oddly terrible list for this time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I expected better from it. I guess I gotta go. I don't know. Sixth Sense doesn't have much rewatchability.
Look at this. There's 56 movies out in October of '99.
American Pie. There's Phantom Menace. Inspector Gadget.
Wow.
All right.
That's
Elmo
a
and
lot of
Grouchland.
fucking movies.
Prince of Egypt.
Okay. Well, anyways, top 10.
Yeah.
What are you seeing?
I guess I'm gonna go see Bats because I've never seen it and it's the most Halloweeny, and I'm really in a Halloween mood after talking to you guys about Halloween. So, Bats. Fuck it.
Okay. Bats. Fuck it. There you go. That's what he's seeing.
Sean, what are you seeing? Yeah, see, it's not a great list.
Well, like I agree with the rewatchability with Sixth Sense, and that's the thing. Like, there's a part of me, knowing what I know of it, it would be fun to go back in time, sit in the theater, and be the guy at the beginning of the movie going, "I bet he's dead," and then at the end of the movie, when it's revealed, called it. People want to kill me.
Fight Club, I've seen that way too many times.
And like Fight Club might be the only other one I can think of, and I've seen it maybe twice. I'll just go with Sixth Sense. Only for that's the only one that I can remotely go. It's close to Halloween. Because Bats, you know that Bats isn't going to make you feel Halloween. It's just going to make.
I don't know. It's got a chance.
All right. So we got one for Bats Fuck It and one for Sixth Sense. Jesse, what are you seeing?
There are several movies out at this time that unfortunately are not in the top 10. That makes sense, that I would 1000% see than any of these. But based on this list, I'd probably go with Bringing Out the Dead because it's one I always wanted to see and I've never gotten around to seeing it.
Awesome. I'm going to double up with Jesse. Something about that intrigued me. I actually wrote it on my list of stuff to watch. It could be very terrible, but I'm going to check it out. It sounds interesting to me. So
nice.
Can you scroll down a little bit? There's at least 2 movies that should be out at this time. Yeah, Stigmata, which Joe mentioned, which I don't think I saw that in theaters, but I love that movie.
Omega Code sounds familiar, but
I mean, it was on its 7th week and already out of the top 10. So,
I didn't say it was a great movie, but I liked it. Yeah. And Mystery Alaska is great.
Inspector Gadget with Matthew Broderick.
24 weeks.
13th Warrior. That is definitely, if that one would probably be that or
one.
No, the 13th Warrior is the one with Antonio Banderas. When he goes, he's a
Runaway Bride. I love me some Julia Roberts.
Man, how is
Blair Witch out of the top 10 after 15 weeks? Well, 15 weeks. I mean, that is.
How is The Messenger not on this list?
Iron Giant.
Just means it was out of theaters already.
It came out October 18th.
Of 99?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Apparently it was just
Tarzan.
Now I'm starting to think.
No, 2000.
No, 1999.
The Messenger?
The Messenger, the Joan of Arc story with Mia Jovovich.
I don't know.
There's also a 2009 The Messenger.
That's 1000% not what I'm talking about.
I don't know, man. But I'm definitely going to go watch this Bringing Out the Dead. It sounds interesting. So
I would like to point out that Bats has Lou Diamond Phillips as a star. So
Man, that really is going to sell me on it.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife's laughing over there. Darnell's getting a kick out of that.
What's up, Dana? How you doing tonight?
Darnell.
All right. Well, there's This Week in Theaters.
What site was that?
What is it called? Something Mojo. Box Office Mojo.
Okay.
He's writing a very
Jesse's going to destroy our This Week in Theaters by saying that this list isn't accurate and we can never use it again.
Can't actually.
I mean, I'm already thinking that.
He's like, I'm going to destroy a whole segment of the show because one movie I wanted to see wasn't on there. All right. Sounds good.
Didn't do great critically. Actually, can't find a.
I'm just saying
for it.
It was only out for like at that point it had only been out for like a week or two. It should.
No, it hasn't been out yet. November 2nd. It hasn't come out yet.
Oh, I bet that's one of those things where I'm reading the release date as like the premiere date, not the wide release. So all right, fair enough.
It comes out next week.
So we can keep the segment then? We don't have to.
I wasn't gonna shoot holes in the segment. I just wanted to see why it wasn't on the list.
It is a good movie though. Jesse did recommend that movie and I watched it, and I will say if you haven't seen it, it is a good watch.
If you like medieval history stuff, it's good. It's part, medieval action battle stuff, part, drama. It's intense. It is not an easy watch.
It is definitely intense. So were the Indians. That's where they lived. It was intense.
Holy shit.
Like Native Americans or the
Yeah. Wigwams, teepees, they lived intense. So
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Whoa, not the
All right. Have you ever? This one was my have you ever.
You want to do have you ever first, or you want to do
what else do we have?
The movie that you guys recommended to us?
Oh, we were gonna go. Okay, that's fine.
You want to do that? I'm just asking.
I didn't know that you guys actually watched it. So
I did.
Okay.
Today.
Yeah.
So, and we're talking about Happy Death Day.
Happy Death Day.
Oh, okay. I was like, man, I'm completely lost. I don't know what we're talking about.
All right, Happy Death Day.
This is one that we were talking about, kind of horror movies and all that. And I'm not a big horror guy. I know, Curtis, you've said you're not either, but both Jesse and Curtis threw out Happy Death Day as being a cool movie. / possibly movies. I'm not sure if you guys recommend the sequel or not.
Yeah, the sequel's good too.
But I only watched the first one. And Sean and I had not seen it. So I wanted to record something to play, but I never got around to it. So I'll just have to give you my thoughts. So before I actually sat down and watched it, I didn't look at trailers or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I just kind of I saw like the promotional image, if it was the poster or whatnot, with like the cake on it and everything and the candles and Happy Death Day. And so I just sat there for a minute and I thought to myself, what could this be about?
Mm-hmm.
And so I figured it was going to be, knowing that you are, especially you, Curtis, are not a big horror guy. I figured it was going to be maybe a more psychological thriller, and so more like Seven type, where we're following a serial killer that only kills people on their birthday. That was the vibe that I got from it.
No, it's basically Groundhog Day with death.
Yeah, we're getting there. Spoiler alert. Sean, did you know anything about this? I never even heard of this movie till these two talked about it in the group chat. So did you have anything going into it?
No, I heard of the name of it, and I actually did research after watching it, just out of curiosity. But that was about that and the baby face for the killer in this one. That was the only other thing that I knew that image too.
Gotcha. All right. So let's start with Jesse and or Curtis, and you guys tell us about when you first saw this movie, how you felt about it, and then we'll go on to me.
I thought it was fucking hilarious. I mean, like typically I'm not a big horror guy, especially gore. Like I can't deal with like the Saw movies and stuff. Like it's just I can't deal with that stuff. Like there's something I don't know. I just don't feel good watching that stuff. But with this going into it, like reading the premise, I was like, okay, this sounds interesting. Like it sounds like, Groundhog Day, but with murder. I mean, like Bill Murray got killed many times throughout Groundhog Day. He tried to kill himself. So it kind of sounded similar to that. And just knowing that at the end of each day, like the main character is going to die, it kind of takes away some of the sting and some of the, I don't know, the stuff that I don't like about horror movies. So I just thought it was great. And then just like how she tried to, decipher like who the killer was and how to stop the cycle that was going, and just everything that went into it, I thought was really funny. To me, it's like the Final Destination films, like where you can kind of see from a mile away like how somebody's going to die, and so it's not as, I don't know, it's not as terrifying. So yeah, I really enjoyed the first and the second one of those movies. Jesse?
I totally agree. I remember seeing trailers for it and thinking I was like, okay, it's just like a teen, like teen horror slasher movie kind of
I know
thing.
What You Did Last Summer, Scream.
Yeah, just something like that. Or like, the remakes of the remakes of Prom Night and like all those different things where it's like, oh, okay. And then something when I actually saw like the full trailer that kind of gave a little more to it, I was like, all right, maybe there's something a little bit more to that. I wasn't saying like something super deep, but something more than just, pretty girl horror movie kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I watched it, and like Curtis, like it was great. Like I think it's really funny. I think it's an interesting premise, an interesting twist on, the costume killer trope. But then they do some fun stuff with it, and especially when they get into the second one. I won't say any spoilers. It's. I'm not saying it's like the most deep philosophical movie, but there's more to, like, there's a deeper layer to, I think, both the movies than just what it presents as. And I like that. It doesn't feel like it's overdone or heavy-handed or anything, but like just some of the things they do, it's like, okay, they put some thought into this, and it's not just, what it's presenting as in the original trailers and stuff. So, yeah, I thought it was really funny. The babyface killer thing, is like, all right, that's kind of weird and ridiculous. Why would anybody be afraid of that? And then you see it, and it's kind of like, oh, it's off-putting in the right ways. And yeah, it just I loved it. And then I think when the second one came out, I think I went to the theaters to see that one, or I know I like rented it or bought it as soon as it came out on video. So yeah, good times.
So, new guys that hadn't watched it, what are your thoughts?
Take it away, buddy.
Oh, okay. It's all on me.
Yep.
So I guess the best thing I could say is it's cute. It's a cute premise. But the problem for me is this premise is something that I feel is it's used a lot more than I thought it would be after seeing Groundhog Day for some reason. Like there's even an episode of Supernatural where they do the same premise of Dean gets killed all the time and Sam can't stop it and all that. This one, it like it was trying to do the jump scares. It was trying to do this. It was trying to do that, and it never quite landed with me. Go away, kitty. Go. I'm talking. Go. It never quite landed with me the way I was hoping it would, for some reason. But the premise of her being a horrible person at the beginning, and her eventually like becoming a better person through all of the stuff she goes through, that actually was like, okay, it's a through line that kept me interested in the story. But the scary parts definitely were not like scary to me. It was almost like, I bet this is gonna happen, and then it happens. I'm like, how come she couldn't call that? Because I saw that was coming from, like 10 miles away or whatever. But like I said, I did like at least her evolution from becoming self-centered and being basically a brat or whatever to being somebody who cares about others. Like I like that one part where she's talking about the guy that she's always waking up in the dorm room of, and then she's
Carter.
talking to her one friend, yeah, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna have his baby. It's like at first when we meet him, she wants nothing more to do with him, and then by the end of the movie, she's ready to like be married to the guy because he stuck up for her and he helped her to not die one of the
He
times.
gave his life for her.
Yeah, exactly. So I appreciated that for him because he is definitely more who I would have been in the story versus some jock guy who would have been that guy. You know, he's just an everyman character.
Yeah, she basically started out like Dooch and then ended up like Jesse. So
Exactly.
The one thing, so researching this really quick, I do want to say the one thing that really grabbed my attention and surprised me is the writer of the movie is Scott Lobdell. Scott Lobdell, for anyone who doesn't know, was the writer on X-Men comics in the 90s after Chris Claremont left and Jim Lee left. So I was sitting there going, holy shit, Scott Lobdell did a movie? That's freaking nuts. And the other thing was the baby face mask for the killer. The director was going to have his first child and said that he had baby on the mind, and the idea of this guy walking around with this on his face was unnerving enough to him becoming a father for the first time. Which when I read that, I'm like, I can understand, but don't tell your wife that shit, because damn, that's rough, man. And now I'll leave it to the dude, if I can name the room thing.
So yeah, obviously getting into the movie, you know, and the way it starts off, especially not knowing anything, like I thought we were in for another Scream, whatever, like, you know, you're following this bitchy chick, and I'm like, man, I hope she gets killed soon. And luckily she, you know, it takes a little bit longer than I really liked. And just as I was really starting to despise her, she does get killed. So I'm like, okay, so where are we taking this from here? And then once it hits that Groundhog's Day, wake back up in the same bed, I'm like, all right, Happy Death Day, you got my attention. What are we doing here? And then from that moment on, I was just hooked. Like I spoiler alert, I love the hell out of this, and I can't wait to sit down and watch the sequel. It was just the actors were all really good. I've never, you know, Tree. I've never seen that actress before that I can recall, but she was really good. I like Carter, like, and just trying to pick out like where we were going with this, who could be the murderer, and you know, at the same time, just like Sean said, watching her become a better person, just like, you know, Bill Murray, was really cool. And they would do those things where it would like the whole kind of theme and the music and the lighting and everything would like switch on a dime there, where she's getting depressed and everything would be darker and she's giving up. And then, you know, she thinks she's got it all figured out, and there's literally sun shining and birds singing, and, you know, she's happy and everything. And then she, you know, she still doesn't break it. And there were a couple times where, you know, no, none of the jump scares or anything like that got me, and it wasn't overly gory, nothing like that. But there were definitely moments where I'm like, okay, we figured it out. This is it. And then boom, she wakes back up at the beginning, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I was right there with her. I'm like, we had it that time, damn it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. You know, and there was lots of little stuff in there that they didn't, you know, her mother and all that, and her dad relationship. Like, there was definitely a lot of story in there, but they didn't beat you over the head with anything, you know. So, you know, even towards the end there, where you know, her and Carter are about to enjoy that birthday cupcake finally, and he's like, well, how do you get out of the, you know, how do you escape? And she's like, guess we'll just never know, and everything. And like, I'm like, oh, all right, like it is what it is. It's a slasher movie, but And I'll save the big end, but yeah, it just like once it started happening, I'm like, oh shit, that makes perfect sense. But up until that point, I was just like, I just enjoyed the hell of the story. I thought it was very cleverly written, and well worth the time.
I will say
Cool.
if you liked the first one, I think you'll very much like the second one.
Yeah.
I actually think the second one might even be better. Well, it's not a better standalone movie, but to Jesse's point, like you get a bit better picture of the whole thing by watching the second one. So
yeah, the second, it's definitely a progression. It's not just a repeat of the first one. There's definitely some elements that do carry over, and the tone and everything is the same, but it's not just like, oh, this one did good, let's just make another one with more people, and
it's not Crow 2.
Oh god,
it's definitely worth watching, and
let's just do the same thing with a bigger budget. All right,
just like El Mariachi and Desperado. Evil Dead.
And I did like the point that they did put the clock on it too, unlike Groundhog's Day, where her body wasn't fully recovering after every night, and the time she drowned, she woke up like spitting up water and stuff. So there, it wasn't just that I have all the time in the world. There still were stakes throughout it, which I appreciated.
I love the whole montage thing where she's doing like all the different ways to kill herself. Minor spoiler alert. I don't because I think it was in the trailers, but like she's like jumping out of a plane without a parachute. She's walks across campus naked, and just all the different like all the different interactions she has with the people. She's walking across the quad and stuff. How her character changes and interacts with them different days, and it just that whole segment just cracked me up when I watched it the first time. But yeah, the jumping out of the plane moment, and just no pun intended, the way that moment lands.
Nice.
There he goes.
Pun totally intended. Yeah, it's interesting to think. I mean, I'm glad you guys brought it up about kind of her changes throughout the film, and obviously we see the same thing with Bill Murray and Groundhog Day, but it would be interesting, like this scenario. I guess I never really had thought about it, like having that many experiences within that time period, but then to the other people around you, it's like instantaneous. Like she's had 1,000 days of going through all this stuff or whatever it is, and but to the people around her, it's like, well, you were just a bitch yesterday, and now you're not. But I could see how all of those things, like even the different ways of trying to kill yourself and stuff, would all of a sudden you'd be fearless. You would develop this different personality throughout the whole thing. So yeah, that's kind of a cool aspect of that as well.
And I will say this is more of a funny bit, but I love that, of course, like the preppy stuck up white girl has the Go Shorty as her like birthday ringtone. Like just the fact that it's that song that she wakes up to every day, just that. I think that was one of the reasons I'm like, okay, I got to see this. I don't know why, because I'm not particularly like attached to that song, but just in that moment that's the song you keep hearing every day when you wake up, it just cracks me up.
I like that she didn't start out as like a badass, but throughout the process and throughout of everything that's going on, it's like, because a lot of times we see these horror films where there's like that one female that's going against, Jason or Freddy or whoever, and like they're just a badass or whatever. And it's like, this was not like that. Like she starts out very much, not that way, but through everything that happens, it does make her a little bit more daring and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, really
you can't have everybody can't start off like Sarah Connor in T2. Like a lot of them, they have to start off as
even Sarah Connor, like you go back to T1 and she's
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In the first one, she's just
sex with homeless people.
Yeah.
Right. As you do.
Well, yeah.
As you do.
Technically.
You don't know where that junk was rubbing up against those pants. Jesus God, man.
Oh man.
Ooh, that love scene's just right down the gutter for me. I don't know.
I was just thinking, but he's also like how many years younger than her? So like, how's that? That's like a George and Judy Jetson thing. Like to the 10th degree.
Yeah.
George and Judy?
Yeah. She was like 16 or 17 when she got pregnant with
He got his daughter pregnant?
or Jane rather. Sorry.
Jane.
Oh yeah, that would.
Yeah, sorry. I wasn't trying to go.
I thought we were going Space Alabama
Oh,
here.
geez.
I wasn't trying to go that
doing
off,
fan fiction. So
because like I think he's like 30 or something, and she's like 16 or 17 when she gets pregnant with Judy.
I did not know that.
Shenanigans?
What if the Terminator theme song, the do 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 do, was how it sounded in that bed and that's why they started the movie with that. It's like he's on his way. John Connor will be here eventually. I kind of want to see Linda Hamilton's titties.
Oh boy! All right. So, anyways, have you ever?
Have you ever seen Linda Hamilton's?
This yes, I have.
Yeah, see.
This week's Have You Ever was mine. It was a Michael Keaton film that I really enjoy called Dream Team. I think it's his best performance in my opinion. To me, it's like the line in Batman where he does the let's get nuts, like it's a movie of that, like that craziness of that one little section of Batman turned into a movie. So yeah, recommend it to the guys. I don't think any of you guys had seen it. So whoever wants to start, what do you guys think?
I'll get this out of the way. You can be disappointed in me like you were with Pickups. I did not get to watch it. I will. I just did not get to watch it in time for today's show. I'm sorry.
Anybody actually see it?
I did watch it, so I'll step in then real quick. I actually did see this years ago, and I didn't realize I had until I was like a quarter into the movie. I'm like, oh my god, I remember this thing. So this is one of those movies that it's of its time, but it still works better than I would have expected it to. I mean, basically, you have this like motley crew of mental patients. Michael Keaton, Christopher Lloyd, Peter Boyle, and I don't know the other guy, the one who's the quiet one. I never remember his name, but the four of them, the psychiatrist says, let's get them out of here, and I'll take them to a baseball game, and maybe it'll help with their therapy and all this stuff. Get them out of the the four walls of the hospital and all that, or what do they call it? The hospital.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where they get into New York and chaos ensues because the doctor who's supposed to be looking after them ends up witnessing a murder, and then he gets beaten up because of it, ends up in the hospital, and then these four guys are running amok in the city trying to figure it all out. And it's got humor. It's got some really surprising heart from characters I didn't expect to have those moments.
Yeah, the Christopher Lloyd with his family thing gets me every time. Yeah,
I sat there and just I was like I'm not crying. You're crying. It's like I'm watching that moment, and it's like anytime I see those moments in movies, just because I have my son and I also have my daughter. Anytime I hear somebody doing the daddy and whatever the line is, usually it always grabs me by the heart because my kids are still calling me that, and it just gets me on that level every time.
When he gives up his clipboard willingly to his daughter, it's
absolutely.
Because that's like a part of like his. It's like a security blanket for him.
Yeah.
Like he's carrying this thing around like the whole film, and then all of a sudden he's like just gives it to her for her pictures, and it's like, oh man.
And then the line right after it, Daddy, when are you going to stay with us?
Oh,
when are you going to come back? And when that part happened, I'm just sitting there going, okay, fine, you got a couple more tears out of me, kid. What the hell are you doing? But I mean, it's such an 80s comedy but it still works on a lot of levels. I mean, like Michael Keaton being able to be the crazy guy in this one, it's fun. You know, like you're saying, the let's get nuts and all that. I mean, he's basically a pathological liar with a violent past, which is hysterical to me. So it's like he's the loose cannon out of the group. Peter Boyle's a guy who thinks he's Jesus Christ, which is hysterical because of what happens with him.
Him in the church is fucking
Him in the church, and the whole thing later on when they're in the hospital, he's like, "Rise, my son," and the guy tries to get up the grave and falls over. It just got me, and like Christopher Lloyd just being who he is in this. Like by the time you get to the end, and I'm not going to try to spoil anything because I know Jesse said he wants to watch it, but there's like this whole turn with his character after the scene that Curtis and I are talking about, where he is willing to break the rules because he's realizing this is how we got to get out of this situation, and it just works. It works on a lot of levels. Although the funny thing to me is the psychiatrist in this movie is that character, and every time I've seen him in anything else from the 80s, he's
Yeah.
never transitioned to the 90s. He was
Yeah.
always in the 80s, and he never went past that. It amused me just going like, I know I've seen this guy in like 5 or 6 other things, and he's always that character. But yeah, I actually had a blast watching it. It was a good pick.
Awesome. I'm glad.
Excellent.
And here's the douche.
Here's the douche.
Yeah, this movie is peak 1980s. And it felt good. It felt good. It felt warm. It was comfortable. Yeah, I mean, you knew where it was going and everything, but that's all right because it wasn't about the destination. It was about the journey. So, the Michael Keaton's... Honestly, Michael Keaton's character is probably my least favorite out of the quartet, but that's all right because they were all good. It's interesting growing up, being as young as I am, I always forget how much they made Christopher Lloyd up in Back to the Future to make him seem so... Like, I pictured Doc Brown as like 80s Christopher Lloyd, you know, because obviously I saw Taxi reruns and everything, and I'm like, it just always amuses me when I actually look at him like, oh no, this was after Back to the Future, and he looks, 20 years younger. Whereas, is it Peter Boyle?
Peter Boyle.
Yeah, he always looks like Raymond's dad. Like he is one.
He looked the same back then. Yeah,
entire fucking
he literally
never had
70s.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And that's what made it. It was the 4 guys. Like it was just their character study. They looped in the cops and the murder and everything else. But at the end of the day, it was just about these 4 guys and their struggles just dealing with life. But at the end of the day, none of them were too far gone to know, like, I mean, they still knew who they could trust, who they couldn't trust. I love when they, it's not too big of a spoiler, but like there's the other doctors from the facility that are trying to take them back, and they end up being able to pull a switcheroo and getting the actual doctors committed to another psychiatric hospital. And it's like, they're very capable, and it's just looking. Yes, their psychoses and everything was played for laughs, but they weren't caricatures. They were people, and you could see how their mental illness was a cover for what they were trying to deal with in life. Like you said, Christopher Lloyd's character with his family, Frank's character with he meets his old colleague, in advertising and everything, and of course Michael Keaton, we get a whole thing with him and his ex-girlfriend and everything, and it's just and that's what I was interested in. Honestly, they could have cut out all the action and like just focus on these characters even more. and then that the final scene there where they get to do the thing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, where's my Dream Team 2? Electric Boogaloo, let's go.
Honestly, I gotta say, like, I don't know if I agree with the taking away the action, because the action kind of it cemented them finally. Like,
Yeah.
all through that movie, you
100%.
had Michael Keaton being the one belittling everybody and talking horribly about them. And by the end of it, I love that his ex is just like, you're a mom now. You used to be this guy. Now you're the one taking care of these guys. That's what your role is. And then it's like that's when it clicks for him, and he manages to get everybody as a cohesive unit to get this plan together to help their doctor.
And here's the thing.
And it grabbed me even harder than to keep watching, because you're seeing them functioning on a level you've not seen them, because they have a purpose again.
Yeah.
They have this reason to do this, which is great.
And the thing is, even when, they first realize the doctor's gone and that they're free,
Yeah.
none of them tries to take off. They go their separate ways for a minute and kind of, have some time to themselves. But at no point are they like, oh, let's get out.
Like a jailbreak. Yeah.
Right.
No,
Like they
yeah.
know they need to go back. Like they're, you know what I mean? Like it's, because even for a second there, I thought with like the having to use the bathroom and everything, I'm like, okay, this is like Michael Keaton set this up, and I thought it was gonna be like a jailbreak type scenario, but like no, they went and did their own shit for a minute, but they all came back and they're like, well, no, at some point here, guys, we got to get back to the hospital.
Yeah, because they all knew that they were broken. Yeah.
That's where we belong.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like they're crazy, but they're not delusional. Like it was just this great depth that's like, it works.
I like
even Michael Keaton knew like, when to just cut the bullshit and okay, now the stakes are too high. I can't just keep fucking around with these guys.
Well, and I like the action part of it, because to Sean's point, it does help to bring them together and all this.
Oh, yeah.
I think, like I was actually having a conversation with my wife today about like kids in school and bullying, and that, I don't think anybody should be bullied. But at the same time, I think that sometimes we coddle people so much that they never learn how to deal with those kind of things. And, sometimes I think when people are hurting or they're broken, like there's this tendency to kind of coddle them. And you saw through this movie that having to deal with the hardships they had to deal with helped them to each grow individually and also as a team.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you can come out of a hardship stronger on the other end, for having to deal with it. And that's what I really liked about this. I do want to just point out my favorite part of this movie is when they're in the jail cell, and the one guy that really doesn't talk and stuff just gets up and whispers in Michael Keaton's ear, and they're like, "What did he say?" And he's like, "He called me a shithead."
Yeah.
And he moves towards him, and he like flinches like he's gonna hit him, and then he just hugs him. He's like all excited because he said something of substance that wasn't from a TV show or whatever. He's like, "He called me a shithead." I just love that part.
And that part's great too, because that moment where it clicks for him, and he starts realizing, I gotta lead these guys, and we gotta make this become a cohesive thing, and that's the only way that we have of getting out of this situation, getting back to where we're supposed to be. So
and then the look on the doctor's face, and this is kind of a spoiler or whatever, but at the end when when he whispers again in Michael Keaton's ear, and he's like, "Well, what did he say?" And he's like, "Oh, he said they're playing 2 at the ballpark tonight." And just like now he's like got this relationship with Michael Keaton's character where he can actually be a little bit of himself and not just what he's seeing on TV.
Well, how Keaton just shrugs it off to the doctor, like, "Yeah, he talked to me, so
whatever, it's no big deal.
It happens." I love and it's just a little moment, like Sean said. the hospital gurney, you know, the Frank heals him. And you can walk now, and you're just watching the background, and you see him stand up and just completely fall.
And then like a nurse rushes over to help him. Yeah.
And like when they first separate from the van in New York, and Christopher Lloyd's walking away, and you can see him just like picking up all these pieces
all
of
the
garbage
trash
everywhere. Yeah, because
the one guy throws something at the trash can and misses, and he starts yelling at him.
Yeah. It's just those little things like that. It's one of those movies where I'm like, I need to watch this again because I have a feeling there's more stuff in the background and stuff that I missed.
He helps the garbage man throw this trash away, and he's like all excited to help him throw trash away, and then shakes his hand and said, "This is gonna look really good in my report."
Yeah.
And the garbage man just like, "Okay, man, whatever."
The thing, and this isn't a spoiler as far as I'm concerned, because you know he's one of the four characters. Christopher Lloyd, the beginning of this movie is brilliantly done.
Oh yes,
I love.
I mean, I called it. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, but it was good.
That you're going through him walking around in the hospital where they all are, and he's like fixing some of the nurses, their uniforms or whatever. He's like talking to this person, and they do such a good job of never ever giving away he's a mental patient until he has to be in circle.
He's talking to the other doctors about the medication and whether they should up the medication and stuff. And
it was such a great reveal. Like if I knew nothing about this movie and I just sat down and I had to watch it, nobody even told me who was in it. It was just, here, just check this out. I would literally be sitting there for the first like 2-3 minutes going, so Christopher Lloyd's a doctor, right? And all of a sudden, holy crap, he's one of them.
Now, I meant to look it up, but so this was 89, right? Like,
I don't know for sure, probably.
So it was like probably right before Batman. Like, he had been like filming this at like the same time. Keaton, I mean, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not Christopher Lloyd.
Not necessarily.
Well, that's true. I mean, they might have held it, but it's still.
Well, I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it, and Jesse, I don't have any ill will. I know you'll check it out at some point, and I'm just glad that it wasn't like you guys came back and said that was a piece of shit. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So,
so this was April 7th, and Batman was what, June
1.
To make sure you're looking up the actual wide release, not the premiere, because that might be different and it might not be on.
We found that out tonight. Yes.
But still, really close together is my point.
Yeah.
And I forgot to say my June 23rd, so a couple months, So it probably went straight from filming Dream Team to filming Batman. Got a haircut.
I mean, I imagine Batman probably had a longer post production. So, I mean,
I don't know. There was a lot of special effects in here, like the scene where Christopher Lloyd rides the elephants down the streets of New York City. That probably took quite a bit of time.
That didn't happen.
Why are you spoiling it for me?
Because Jesse's going to be watching the movie looking for that point, and he's like, I must have got.
I was pretty sure you were just BSing at that point.
The dude's placed in Hannibal in the middle of this. What the fuck is he watching?
And then they go to Transylvania, and they get a group of undead. Oh no, that's something else.
That'd be cool.
My number one complaint about this movie, my only downside,
is the girl's haircut.
No, that was fine.
It was terrible.
It was 80s.
It was the 80s, exactly.
About to be the 90s. Yeah, that's it. It fit. No, the problem is trying to find this movie and getting through all the stuff about Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen.
Oh, yeah.
You literally search Dream
Team. I did say it was on Amazon for $3.99. So.
It was there, yes.
Dream Team movie, that's all I got information for. I didn't see anything about sports.
I'm sorry that your search history is not as cool as
I was going to say, maybe my Amazon
Yeah.
and Google just knows me better.
Yeah, Jesse's
Hey,
computer.
Jesse does
he's
not
definitely
mean
not
sports
talking about sports ball.
Alexa's like, we're not dealing with sports ball with this one. No, we're not doing it.
Go Blue Jays.
Go Blue Jays.
Go Blue Jays.
Lightning round. Finish off the show. Oh well, just for everybody waiting for the next Have You Ever, we decided to put it on hold for right now because we got a special coming up next week with Matt Rod, and then the following week, we're all going to be at Legions Con, so going to hold off for a little bit on the Have You Ever.
And then theoretically, the Friday after Legions Con will be kind of a recap, our thoughts, memories, how many bathtubs we made it into, the vital stuff.
How many bathtubs?
Well, we could say, have you ever been all four in the same room at the same time? How about that?
There you go.
Well, I mean, the week
prove it
after
right
Legions
pretty
Con's an off-world or off-week episode.
Yeah, it's all going to be weird because of Legions Con.
We'll figure it
So-
out. Stay tuned is what we're
Do
saying.
you want me to give my Have You Ever so you guys have more time to watch it?
No, I'll just forget about it and I won't do it. So
If you give it to me, I'll watch it tonight. So it's just
I'd say just table it. We'll get back to when we get back to regular episodes.
I'll give it to Curtis.
Okay, you give it to Curtis.
Sean, you can come over and watch it.
I'll get to
You might
him.
have seen it already. I don't know.
maybe we
It's a
can get
movie.
together at Legions Con in the hotel and watch it.
No, it's not going to be that kind of movie. I don't think this is it's a great movie, but it's not one I think we're going to want to take the time to watch at Legions Con.
I mean, it could be kind of fun. We've
actually
never the four of us
really
been together
like
in
that
one
idea.
room, and getting together and watching a movie of any kind would be kind of cool.
If you throw it out now, that's how I want. No one gets to see it until Legions Con, and when we sit down together and watch it.
That would be
All
cool.
right.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Are we all staying through Sunday night?
I am.
Yes.
All right. Well, maybe Sunday night after a lot of people have left and it's died down and we're not missing out on. I don't want us to miss out on hanging out with the people we don't get to see. I mean, granted, we never get to see Matt. So, watching this movie together would be worthwhile for that. But anyway.
Cool. Then I also would like it to be a surprise until we get there. Like we're
okay.
Ooh, I like that even better.
Yeah.
Jesse just pops it on.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right.
I mean, you know me and you know my past suggestions, so I'm just saying, don't
As long
get
as
your
I don't
hopes
have to
up.
dance, we're good. So
You've not had to dance.
Oh,
It's not Watership Down.
I had to dance.
I was gonna say if it's Watership Down, I'm hiding in the bathroom and just like.
Although the new
roll
remake
up
was
into a
really
ball.
We're gonna sit down and make Sean watch like 7 seasons of Clone Wars.
I love it. Me in the ass. Oh, with that, Jesus.
I did make him watch the Autopsy of Jane Doe last weekend.
Yeah, he did.
Never heard of it.
Actually,
all right.
I actually like that for Halloween over the other one. To be honest, that was a really spooky
Lightning round.
lightning round.
All right. Little bit different here. Just because. So instead of a traditional lightning round, I pulled up the top Halloween movies according to IMDb. And we're going to go through the top 5 and just give a quick, seen it, liked it, seen it, hated it, never seen it. Just out of curiosity here.
Okay.
Knowing that we're kind of 50-50. Oh, I love old Moss Man Jesse.
He does look like his beard is green.
Say you're the heroic master of camouflage. No?
I'm the heroic master of camouflage.
Oh, that's going in the bank.
I'm the heroic master of Vader.
I'm too lazy to turn off my light, so it's all the way over there. Okay, top 1. No surprise. We'll go Curtis, Jesse, Sean. Back to me. Number 1, Halloween, 1978. John Carpenter.
Just going with me first.
Correct.
Never seen it.
Wow. Jesse.
Overrated.
Okay. Sean.
Seen it, love it.
It looks like we're doing Bohemian Rhapsody.
I'm just a poor boy. Nobody loves me.
He's the poor boy from a poor family.
I
Him is left from the Duchessity.
I have seen it, and I'm probably more with Jesse. Like I've seen it; it was fine. I don't get the hype. So
Now, can I make it? Well, no, this lightning round. Never mind.
yeah, because we never go long on a lightning round. What you got, Jesse? Addendum. Lightning addendum.
I watched it a couple years ago for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a bad movie. I'm not
Right,
saying
that's
that.
what I'm saying.
I also think it's one that if I had seen it, 35 years ago or whatever, like, I know it came out more than that, but like,
No, I agree. That's what
it would have had a different effect on me. I think the fact that I could tell it was California and not Illinois because like they had the same bag of leaves in like every yard, and there was green grass. It's like I've been in Illinois in October. It does not look like that.
If you had watched it when it first came out, would you have thought to yourself, I bet they make about 12 sequels of this? Like, would you have thought that?
No.
I watched the first one, and I have never watched any of the sequels. I've had no desire to. So.
I think I've watched all the new like sequels that have come out the last like 5 or 6 years that are ignoring all the other ones for the most part.
All right. Number 2, according to IMDb, is Trick or Treat. That's the one with the little Sam guy.
Never even heard of it.
Okay.
It's great. I've seen it. I own it. I love it. It's a fantastic movie. It's kind of set up like it. Nope, it's a lightning round. Sorry. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Sean.
Never saw it.
Sean totally looks like a floating head at this point.
That's how it looked before he got when he first reorganized the basement and didn't get the bookcases behind him.
Mecca lecca high, mecca hiney ho.
I just know the little character Sam. I've seen him in shit. But yeah, I've never seen it. I've never had any desire to.
I don't even know what
Sam's
character you're talking
name
about or
comes
anything.
from
If I sent you a picture,
Sam
you would
Hine
know
or
it.
Samhain.
No, that
It's
makes
the little sackcloth head on the orange pajamas with the sucker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe.
No clue.
Next up, we've got the Amityville Horror.
Absolutely not.
Which
I've heard
one?
of it, have
Never-
not watched it.
Jesse?
Which one?
This says 2005.
Yes, saw it.
Oh.
Oh, it's okay.
Saw it. The original did it better.
I have never seen it. Next up, we've got really Ernest Scared Stupid.
I'm gonna try to go 0 for 5. I have not seen this one either.
Mother's Miak. Yes, it's. I probably hate the movie because it was one of those. Because it was one of the movies my stepdad made us watch like all the time.
Like
so
not
it was,
even
like,
at Halloween, just like
That
he
was
loved
his
Ernest. He
punishment.
thought Ernest was great. So like,
Gotcha.
there's a couple movies that even though I liked them when I initially saw them, I can watch a movie on my own over and over. But if I'm being made to watch it and I didn't want to spend time with that person, kind of kills it for me.
Can I ask a question real quick? The rating that you have there by IMDb, is this by dollars that they've made, or this is by reviews, or what?
looks
How
like
did they
they're
put this list
it
together?
looks like their review rating.
Review rate. Okay. And Ernest is number 2 out of all horror films of all time.
4.
4. I started from the top of the list.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So Halloween was number 1?
On this list, yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you started 5 to 1. Sorry, I thought
No.
we were getting better. Okay.
No,
we're
I
actually getting worse.
I just started at the top. So.
Okay, shit.
Sean, Ernest.
Never seen it.
I've never seen it either. For loving Halloween, I'm not a big Halloween movie guy. And then number 5, last one here. Did someone turn on the light behind you, Curtis?
No, it's
You were
been
darker a
that.
second ago. Poltergeist.
Poltergeist. That's the one with the family and they
In the house.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the
yeah.
static
Yeah,
on the TV.
I've
I
seen
think
that.
we got him.
I've seen that, and the one, the lady that they get is like really fucking creepy. Scared the shit out of me, and I don't like
Psychic.
the whole slimy. Yeah, I don't like the whole slimy scene. Not a fan. I mean, it's scary. Well, I don't know if I'd call it scary, but it's suspenseful. But yeah, I wouldn't say that I like it necessarily. The slime thing grosses me the fuck out.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You don't want to put your lips on the slime?
No,
Okay.
definitely not.
Gotcha. Jesse.
Never saw it, won't see it.
All right.
I've seen it, and if I remember right, I was I like.
I have seen this one as well, and I actually love this one. This is I think I saw this at a young enough age where it did actually freak me out, and I really enjoyed that because a lot of these movies, I think that's my big problem is I don't like jump scares. Don't really do anything to me or anything, but this. It's one of those where you don't see a lot necessarily, but they're just these little things and the static on the TV and the girl disappearing, but you don't know where she went. And then they're looking for her in the pool and like that. They're thinking that she was playing in there. And just like
the
those
tree
kind of things
scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
The outside the boys' room, like I was always afraid of, like I don't know, trees like coming alive and grabbing me like that. Like that scared the shit out of me.
Because we had trees right outside our fucking window, that. Like that's the kind of stuff that like gets in my head. That's like, oh shit, like But if it's like jump scares and slashers and stuff like that doesn't scare me. So, but this one, I enjoyed watching it.
Okay.
Lightning.
Okay, lightning round.
I think my top 3 horror movies, if I can list those off real quick.
Hit it, baby.
Autopsy of Jane Doe is number 1.
Never heard of it.
No.
Number 2 is Bone Tomahawk.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
And number 3 is The Witch.
I might have heard of that, but The Witch is by Roald Dahl. That was a good book.
No, Autopsy of Jane Doe is just about a father and son who get given a Jane Doe from a crime scene, and stuff starts happening in the morgue, and it's creepy, and I really like that one. Bone Tomahawk is like it's a new movie, but it's kind of set up like the classic Western where the posse gets put together to go find someone. But what's happening is horrifying. One of the most brutal scenes I've ever seen in a movie. And The Witch is, they call it a New England folktale. It's by the guy who did the Northman a year or so ago. And it's this family gets kicked out of like their Puritan plantation in New England in like the 1600s, and they have to move, and it's just them out on their own, and just stuff starts happening. It's filmed very, like, they made sure they went through and like cut all the wood and the stuff to make their cabin and their homestead the way they would have made it back then. So it's not got modern style saw cuts on it, because like people in the Salem area are very keen on that, they said in like the behind the scenes on the movie. So like if it was cut the wrong way, that immediately takes people out of it if they know that it's been cut with modern tools and stuff. So it's got Anna Taylor-Joy in it. Folks you'd probably recognize from Game of Thrones, Curtis. But it's like the crazy lady that from The Vale, who's still like breastfeeding her like 85-year-old son,
Queen or whatever,
or 18-year-old son, whatever. I guess, Joe, I see your list with
Yeah.
Event Horizon. I will never watch Event Horizon again.
And I haven't heard of the Orphanage. I haven't seen Event
Why?
Horizon.
What's wrong with Event Horizon?
That's the one that
It's-
freaked him out on his road
It's the one I
trip.
watched.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. I would say the only like horror thing that I really have enjoyed that wasn't just like a comedy, like the Final Destination or Happy Death Day, was Midnight Mass, the little series
still
on
haven't watched that.
Netflix.
That's
That is-
great.
That
was phenomenal.
yeah, I mean it's not a movie, but that I would classify as horror, but I really enjoyed it because it made me think quite a bit. So
And
That's a great show.
Joe brings up a good one here. Scooby Doo on Zombie Island was a fantastic movie. So
never seen it.
you should.
Okay.
Dominic says
You know what? I'll be honest. If Scooby Doo didn't have Batman and Robin on, I didn't care. Like those were the only Scooby Doo episodes I liked. Was Batman.
But
and Robin.
Zombie Island was the
literally-
big movie. Like that was the first movie to come out like in our era. So and it was a big to do. I remember building up to it. You were
James Gunn, you might want to give it a shot.
was it James Gunn?
Let's see.
That wasn't the James Gunn movies, though. That's just Scooby Doo and them.
No, this is the
Scooby-Doo
animated
Lost
one.
Lead.
Oh. I thought
No.
that was the live action one. Sorry.
That was it, Scooby Doo.
The thing that got me though, today my daughter was talking about the characters from Scooby Doo, and I flat out said to her, the only Scooby Doo episodes I gave a damn about was when Batman and Robin showed up. Right there.
There
I
you go.
was like, you knew the Joker was up to something that episode.
Oh, yeah.
That was at least fun. That or the other one was if Adam's family showed up. And that was like, it's like Batman was here, Adam's family was around here, but I was still like, all right, I'll give it a shot. But yeah.
Yeah, if I didn't see Batman and Robin, I didn't give two craps about Scooby Doo. So
I'll say if we're closing on the movies, that the one that I am still to this day amazed at how much it got to me, and it took me like weeks to finally not be thinking about it, was Paranormal Activity.
I wouldn't mind that either.
The thing about that movie that to this day, like if I didn't move into that new apartment and I wasn't there by myself and I didn't hear noises in the middle of the night, if my own brain didn't make me wake up at the exact time in the movie for a week that all the craziness was happening in the house in the movie, somehow I was waking up at 3 a.m. Why? I don't know. And just the idea for me that is like one of those things about like being in a house, owning a house or whatever, and not feeling safe in your own house. That's freaky. And to be like, oh, I'm supposed to go to bed. That's where I should feel safest. And I should be peaceful and all. And then that's when all hell's breaking loose around you. Fuck that. Like that thing messed with my head for like a month. After I saw that thing.
I get it, but for me personally, like I can't shut off that this is just a movie I'm watching. And that's why it doesn't work for me, because it doesn't scare me. Like I can't look at it and get into that state of mind. And Joe, I don't know why you're saying I have no soul. I love Zombie Island. I owned it. I have a soul. They don't have souls.
I don't have anything against it. I just haven't seen it.
No souls. Can we all agree?
Would you consider Quiet Place a horror film?
Yes.
Never, haven't seen it.
I liked those.
I would say it's a
They've only made
thriller.
2 so far, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only
Yeah.
2 so far.
Yeah, I liked
So
both
far.
of those.
Yeah, I'd say that's more of a thriller personally, but that one almost is like War of the Worlds to me.
Yeah.
Like War of the Worlds wouldn't be a horror movie; it would be more of like a
Cloverfield
thriller
is kind of
slash
like that too.
Same,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like I'll give it on the sci-fi or some thriller level, but horror movie to me is more supernatural in a different way. But that's just my definition.
I agree. Can we all agree that Blair Witch Project sucked?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I think that they did an excellent job of marketing that to where
Yeah.
even
Marketing,
by the time,
I will give you marketing.
yeah,
but
I mean,
as far
I
as
to
movie-
where even when people went and saw it at the theaters, I would say a good portion of them thought it was real. And I mean, the way that they filmed it is, I don't think it has rewatchability in my opinion.
Right.
But that first watch through it, you're like, it does have you on the edge of your seat. So I would say no, I can't say it's trash. So,
Interesting.
but like I said, I don't know that I would ever watch it again.
Opposing views.
I've seen it twice now, and I saw it the first time I saw it was in the theater. Jesse and I went to go see the last showing of the day of that together. It was like a 10 or 11 o'clock movie. And then we're driving down back roads I drove him, so I dropped him off. Then I'm driving down all these back roads and up a mountain by myself in the middle of the night. I'm like, this ain't right. Like that's when my mind started playing tricks on me. The second time I saw it was like when my wife moved in with me, and we just were like, let's try that out again. We haven't watched it in forever. And to this day, I'm like watching the end of that, going, why the fuck would you walk into that in the middle of the night in that dilapidated cabin thing? Like, you wait till morning. I don't care what the hell is screaming
Yeah,
from you.
but I mean, you could say that about like any horror film.
Any
You
horror
watch it and go,
movie,
why would you do this? Why would you put yourself in this situation? Why would
Yeah.
you go out in the dark by yourself?
Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
they just do stupid
absolutely.
things. They do stupid things,
Absolutely.
and then it makes you go, good. I'm glad you're dead. I'm glad you died because you're stupid. You
A
deserve
movie
that's
that doesn't do
Darwinism.
that.
What's that?
You can correct me on this, Sean. I feel like they don't really do that in Autopsy of Jane Doe.
No, they try to get out of there.
Yeah,
And that
like
was
when
good.
when they
Like,
realize
tried.
something's going on, it's like, okay,
Well,
Yeah.
I brought that up when we were watching it. I'm like, every time now they have to go to okay, we can't get cell reception. There was a storm. Made complete sense that was the case. They were also underground. That made sense that it was the case. The storm brought down a tree. They couldn't get out of their situation because nature was conspiring against them in the situation. And I'm sitting there going, I really can't sit there and go, these people are idiots for staying now. This is great.
Did you, spoiler alert, not plot wise, but did you catch the thing on the radio at the end? I was like, oh, this is our 5th day of sunshine in a row.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So shenanigans.
But the reasoning it happened when you find out what's going
Yes.
on,
Yeah.
it makes
yeah.
complete sense even there. So yeah.
Here's what I've learned about horror films. Don't do drugs and don't have premarital sex, and you're gonna live. So
Those are slasher movies.
Since Curtis took us to slashers, is Scream a horror movie or is it a comedy?
I think it's a horror movie. Scary Movie is a comedy.
That Scary Movie is.
But
I'd say Scream is
there's a bit of parody in it.
I'd say more satire.
Absolutely.
Horror satire
Yeah.
horror than parody. Yeah. I mean there's some
meta.
humor in it, but a lot of horror movies have some humor in it.
I will say I did not expect Drew Barrymore to die that quickly in the first film. Like I was like, okay, this is the main character. She's gonna, and then I was like, oh, okay, all right. So this is what we're doing.
Well, that's the Janet Leigh syndrome from Psycho. You follow Janet Leigh through the beginning of that whole movie. When she gets to the Bates Motel, suddenly it's Norman's movie all over.
Yeah.
And that was a shocker to people back in like the 50s and 60s watching that. Like, Janet Leigh, how could you do that to her?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying horror then, Sean?
I almost look at it as like a meta satire on the horror movies in general, because they go through all of the rules and all that stuff, And it's like usually in horror movies they don't even talk about that. In this, they're literally analyzing horror movies to tell you here's the 3 or 4 or whatever it is things that you don't do and all that.
And we love you for it, Joe.
Joe's like that one. What is that commercial where they're like, let's go in the shed with all the chainsaws. And
Yeah.
stuff.
There's a running car
Yeah.
right there. No. We've either got the cemetery with the fog or the cabin full of chainsaws.
Yeah.
It's just like Galaxy Quest. Have you guys actually watched the show?
Yeah.
Don't go on the away mission.
Oh,
What I
man.
realized is I recently listened to a podcast on Scream, and in my mind, Scream and Scary Movie are so intertwined that I'm not sure I know the difference between the two. Like I gotta rewatch.
Scary
both.
Movie is the funny one making fun of Scream.
Right, but the plot lines are so close, you know.
Well, yeah, because it's copying the plot line of Scream.
Right. Unlike
that's-
later scary movies
Yeah,
where
I
they
get,
just
I
kind of
get
took
Spaceballs and Star
shit
Wars
from
so
everyone.
confused because
They would they would pick one main movie to use as the through line for those movies. Like the first one is Scream.
right.
The second one was what was it, Invisible Man? Or was that
I
the
don't
first
even
one?
remember now because my point is that Scary Movie is good. Any of the other shit that came out from that, I don't know so much about. But Scary Movie, that was a good movie.
The thing about that Scary Movie, the first time I ever saw that, the killer tried to get Carmen Electra in the chest, and then he pulls out her implant. That
Yeah.
made me laugh to the point of tears. First time I ever watched.
I'm saying it's legitimately funny. Joe wants to know if there's any Screamers fans in here. I don't even know what the fuck that is. I like to make her scream.
Oh god.
I scream. You scream. We all
So
scream.
Never heard of
Blair Witch, if I can jump back to my thoughts on that, it is I bought into the
past
whole
that.
hype of
Weird.
Are you-
I didn't. All right.
No, I'm just
I'm kidding. Go.
I know. Sean and I saw it together, and I think up until the day before I saw it, or even the day we were going to see it, I think I bought into not that what I was watching was real. I thought it was it was a recreation of something someone actually found.
Right. Based on a true story type thing.
I thought it was, I thought it was one of those things. I mean, because we're close to where that town is in Maryland. Like, I mean, it's a real town. Like, the poor town had a lot of problems. People coming, like, stealing their sign from, like, the entrance to the town because it was in that movie. But so I was a little disappointed that it kind of got spoiled for me the day before, or before going to see it. But I think the marketing for it was great. I think the movie itself is an okay horror movie. Like you said, the rewatchability definitely declines. I think I've only watched it maybe once or twice since I initially saw it in the theater. But from the filmmaking standpoint and the way they made it, like, it was literally the three actors carrying the cameras around. There was no, like, big production crew. They were out there camping. It was all ad-libbed. They didn't have a script. They had certain plot points. They would wake up in the morning and they each had a coffee can with their character's lid on it. So they'd have to open up, and those were the directions their character was supposed to do at some point during the day. So when he threw the map away and they were all freaking out, like, those were all general responses to him because he was told to throw the map away when no one was looking. So, like, I just, like, that side of it I thought was really interesting. I've never bothered watching, I think, any of the sequels or the spin-offs that came out of it, but the initial one, again, like you said, it's one of those things where you see it the first time and it's like, oh, this was really cool. But yeah, driving home, Sean, I live like, at the time I lived kind of outside of the suburbs, on the edge of the countryside, and then Sean lives up a mountain that he'd have to, like, get out and unlock a gate and drive up to his parents' house, like, in pitch black. So, like, it was freaky just getting home to my house, even though we both knew it wasn't real, but like it was just unnerving. And then, you know, he had to drive the rest of the way home by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, I needed to see it in the Pennsylvania wilderness with a creepy gate. So
I'm my own.
that's on me.
All right. Is
All
that
right.
a show?
I think so. The numbers are flagging. Joe's pretending that Screamers is an actual thing. So
It is. It's a movie
Alright.
from the 90s. I've
And
never seen it, but
Dominic, you are right. Scary Movie 2 does have Little Hand. So that's
All
my
right.
strong hand.
So Jesse put out a nice little list of stuff that we've got going on right now. Check that out in the Legendati group. We do have another Off-World next week where we're going to have Matt Rod on. We're going to talk about the Tick and maybe some dinos. We'll see. So check us out for that. Tomorrow, Jesse and I are doing a special on Just Shelve It channel where we're going to kind of go through all the stuff that we're going to have at our tables. So if you're interested in, if you're going to Legion's Con, you're interested in what we may have at table 9 and 10, check out that tomorrow. We'll have all of those pictures available and we'll kind of talk through that.
If you're interested in what we have at table 32, don't bother tuning in because we weren't invited.
Correct.
32.
I don't know. I made up a number because
Yeah,
I could
it's the-
remember.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was going to say, don't
something,
listen to
yeah.
Matt. That's not an accurate number.
And then Sunday we've got Jeremy Gerard, big score. Jesse, you know, pulling in the
Who's
super
that?
guest right towards the end. So yeah, that's going to be fun, huh, Jess?
Yes, it is going to be fun. I am excited. Last year was fun. We did the show with him a couple weeks before the convention. You know, we walked through like the hotel. He showed pictures. And he'd done. I think he's going to do that next week, or he was doing that. I don't know. Didn't he go to the hotel this week or something?
He did. He went there yesterday, I believe, or today,
Okay.
maybe.
Did he do a live from there?
He said he was thinking about it, but I never saw anything come up.
Okay.
So.
But yeah, he showed some pictures off to kind of get a feel for it last year. I mean, he's been pretty good at showing pictures of everything. So yeah, it'll be exciting with him on Sunday night, and then tomorrow will be fun showing off the stuff at the table. And the Legends of Grayskull Off-World table is 95.
There we go. That was close.
And if
I'm
you're
reading
interested in the Legends of
206.
Grayskull, they just did a new episode, which is on YouTube right now.
I bet that was a
Or
good
wherever you stream your pods.
Yeah,
Pods are cast.
Yeah, there you
Whatever. Cast your
So-
pods, stream your cast.
go. And if you want to
Really?
keep up
Matt,
to date
your
on all the
rods.
different stuff going on and all our different shows, make sure you're in the Legendati Facebook group, which I did see my daughter joined.
Yes,
this
this is
week
going to be fun.
after I took her driving and live streamed. So
Yeah.
yeah, not sure how that's going to go, but
Oh, it's going to go.
Did you see my
any-
comment?
yeah, I did. Any other shows or appearances that we've got coming up that you guys want to promote, or anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Sean, I know when we were on Euro Legions, you were talking about maybe trying to have some prints. You didn't know if it was going to work out. Did that work out? Do you think you're going to have any prints for the show or anything else at your table?
We will have
Failed
some,
miserably.
Okay.
we will have some stuff.
We'll have
They
some
will have
stuff,
some
but
stuff.
not what I was hoping for.
Okay.
So, but no, we will. I'm just waiting for it to come in to show it off, but that
Okay.
won't be tomorrow because we weren't invited. So, but yes, there will definitely be some stuff shown off as soon as I am able to. It's closer than I wanted it to be, but it will be there.
Okay. Cool. Maybe Sean can do little doodles at the table and sell them to people.
There
That'd be cool.
might be an option for that. So.
Yeah, I'd like a Sean doodle.
You should have Sean doodle the people slapping Matt all weekend.
Yes.
Ooh,
Like a
nice.
court stenographer.
Yeah.
You could pay me not to doodle for you.
I don't know if that's as enticing, but
Does that come with the slap?
I will. That's separate.
did want to throw out there for the 3 people that are left watching plus you guys on the show. Found out this week the hotel does not have a free breakfast. Their breakfast is, it says on the site, it ranges between $20 and $29. So depending on how many days you're staying for, if you're not expecting to pay, $30 a day for breakfast, you may want to plan to bring some stuff with you. So
Wow.
some
That is
granola bars or protein shakes or whatever. So
I want to know what
I know Lynn said he's thinking about bringing his waffle maker with him. Just make waffles in
there's
the hotel
a
room.
fridge in the room, right?
Yes, there's a fridge and a microwave.
Okay. All right.
So
Cereal.
yeah, just figured I'd throw that out there in case anybody needs to, bring some stuff with it. Yeah, bring some donuts. Donuts would be a nice, easy one. You get a box of chocolate or powdered donuts, just keep it in the room. And
Can we make runs for breakfast sandwiches, or is Kyle Moore coming?
I think you can make runs. I don't think you can sell food in there, because that was something that I guess somebody had asked about, like food trucks and stuff, and they said that's not allowed. So I don't. I've had some people who were talking about, what if we went and bought some, like, a whole bunch of muffins or donuts and then set up a table and sold them there. I'm like, I don't think that's gonna fly. So
I love it.
Yeah.
You could do what I did last year. I did DoorDash at one point.
Yeah.
I was hungry. All the other places were closed, so I just DoorDashed Wendy's at like 9 o'clock at one point. And I had big meal in my room just because I was like, I missed out on all the other stuff. So.
And bring water with you, folks.
Yes.
Don't pay
Stay
$4 for a bottle of water at the hotel. You bring some water. So
and some crackers or something to keep on.
Yeah, and some crack. Bring crack and water.
It's New Jersey, people. Crack.
We got the crackers right here.
I don't know. We got plenty of crackers right here.
You bring the water, we'll bring the crackers.
It's predominantly crackers.
Well, apparently it's white o'clock, so I think that means it's time to sign off.
But shuffle long enough, you'll see crack probably anyway.
Oh, very nice. All right. Well, hey, next time we'll see you on the OffWorld.